Chapter 316. The poisoned toad was #1 on the Black Hand list and one of the 10 kings of the Great Xia dynasty. His appearance was so valiant and frightening that Zhu Qing, Leopard Head, and Drunkard Head thought that no matter how strong Yang Wu was, he would not be a match for the poisoned toad. His Tao of poison was invincible. However, such a character had his head split open by Yang Wu on the spot before he could figure out what was going on. This was definitely a thunderbolt out of the blue. It was unexpected and caught them off guard. What's going on? Zhu Qing looked at the dead poisoned toad and panicked. Leopard Head stared at this scene with wide eyes. His head could not take the blow and blood spurted out again. He exclaimed, "Only the heaven realm can defeat him." As soon as he finished shouting, his brain exploded with blood, and he fell to the ground, completely dead. Drunkard Head also fainted from shock. They really did not know what kind of opponent they had provoked. They came here to die for nothing. Zhu Qing did not even think and turned to flee. She did not dare to stay any longer. "Do you think you can escape?" Yang Wu glanced in Zhu Qing's direction. With a flap of his profound wings, he appeared above Zhu Qing's head in an instant. He viciously stomped on Zhu Qing, causing him to fall from the sky. Zhu Qing fell to the ground. Before she could get up, Yang Wu stepped on her, causing her to vomit blood again. She was already half dead. Spare me." Zhu Qing cried out in panic. "If you're willing to testify who ordered you to kill me, I can spare your life," Yang Wu said faintly. Even though he already knew who wanted his life, he hoped to have a witness. This way, he would have more reason to return to the royal city. "I don't know. We are all," Zhu Qing replied. Before she could finish, Yang Wu did not have the time to listen to her nonsense and stomp her body into a pulp on the spot. This kind of killing method was very straightforward, without the slightest bit of pity for the fairer sex. "What use do I have for you?" Yang Wu said coldly. At this moment, his heart was filled with killing intent. Some people in the royal city might have to pay with their blood. At this moment, the battle of the kings in another direction was also coming to an end. Yang Wu had the skinny monkey and the silver-patterned tortoise, two fellows who could fight above their level. It was not a problem for him to win with a disadvantage. The skinny monkey fought crazily, turning into a battle monkey. The broken staff in his hand was incomparably powerful, and his staff technique was even more powerful. Not only did it shoot out tangible flames, but it also contained a terrifying staff intent. On the spot, 2 mid-level king-level experts and a primary-level king-level expert were turned into a pool of blood. The silver-patterned tortoise's continuous improvement speed was too fast. It needed a great battle to consolidate its realm. In its eyes, these king realm experts were the best sparring partners. Under its bloodthirsty slaughter, it killed 4 king realm experts. It even ate 2 king realm experts alive, frightening the other king realm experts. The battles of the others hadn't ended yet, and the kings who had rushed over didn't dare to continue fighting. They all split up and fled. In the end, only 2 of the 13 royal bandits fled. The others all died in the vicinity of Inkstone Ridge. There were many spies watching this battle in the dark. When these spies saw this situation, they were completely scared silly. They did not dare to stay any longer. They all returned to report to their masters. Yang Wu's return to the royal city was definitely not simple. After the kings were killed, Yang Wu immediately ordered people to cut off their heads and collect all their valuables. He had to collect the wealth of these dead people. Otherwise, he would not be able to feed so many people. Yang Wu and his group once again set off. They charged towards royal city at full speed. The rolling dust and the earth-shattering sound of horse hooves made their momentum extremely shocking. "Sir, Yang Wu of the Yang family is back. He killed the top 5 kings of the Black Hand list. His strength is too terrifying. This is not good." Yang Wu led his troops back to rebel and killed more than 10 kings. Even the 13 royal bandits were no match for him. No one can stop his advance. Yang Wu, who was banished to the mountain prison, has killed his way back from the border after a year. This person is truly terrifying. We cannot become enemies with him. Otherwise, we will suffer greatly. He has already been betrothed. I don't think he will do anything stupid. No matter how powerful he is, he would not dare to rebel. His Majesty is already quite good to him. News of Yang Wu's return spread in all the major manors in the royal city. Some were panicked, some were shocked, and some were jealous or envious. Yang Wu had not returned to the royal city, but his reputation had already spread to every corner. The young prodigies of the major manors wanted to see how powerful Yang Wu had become to be able to cause such a commotion. The young ladies of the major clans wanted to see how handsome this young prodigy, who had already made great contributions at the border at the age of 18, was. In a short period of time, the main street of the royal city was packed with people. They all wanted to see if Yang Wu had 3 heads and 6 arms. Was he really that amazing? Yang Wu of the Yang family was a child prodigy that everyone knew since he was young. Everyone only knew that the Yang family had a literary ability, but no one knew that they had a martial ability. When Yang Wu failed to rape the princess, only then did they know that the Yang family had a martial ability. However, compared to the literary ability, this martial ability was worthless. It even implicated the entire Yang family. At that time, Yang Wu's reputation in the royal city was extremely bad. A year later, Yang Wu returned. His past was already forgotten by most people. They only knew that he dominated the border and intimidated the barbarian tribe. Even the barbarian tribe's patriarch personally came to sign a 10-year peace agreement with him. He even asked the current emperor to betroth his precious daughter, Princess Xiao Han, to him. These were all incomparably amazing deeds and legends that made people gasp in amazement. Now, Yang Wu had stormed back from the border, stormed in a high cliff city, and killed the king of the Black Hand list. The imposing manner he displayed was enough to show that he was worthy of the great merit at the border and the identity of the prince consort. 1,500 horses rushed to the front of the city. The city guards panicked and didn't know what to do for a moment. According to past practice, such a group would never dare to charge into the royal city. They would be treated as rebels by the imperial guards and shot to death on the spot. However, the group in front of them was led by Yang Wu. They were a group that had made great contributions. Could they stop them? Men, stop! One of the city guards summoned his courage and shouted. Just as he finished speaking, someone said, "Let General Yang Wu's men enter the city." When the general saw who it was, he hurriedly shouted, "Don't stop them. Let them enter the city. Let them enter the city." As a result, all the checkpoints in front of the city gate were removed and all the guards and citizens scattered in all directions. After they dispersed, Yang Wu's group charged through the city gate. After 1,500 of them rode past, only rolling dust was left in the air. When the guards and citizens saw this, they couldn't help but sigh. How many years has it been since someone dared to act so arrogantly in front of the royal city? This couldn't be blamed on Yang Wu. He was already full of anger. Since the imperial family had granted the marriage, someone still dared to come and kill him. They didn't take him seriously. If he didn't do this, people would think that he, Yang Wu, was easy to bully. "General Yang Wu is here. He's here," someone in the city shouted excitedly. The people in the city scattered in all directions, making way for this menacing group. The people on both sides of the street stared at the leader. They saw a valiant young man in battle armor sitting cross-legged on a spirit demon turtle. This young man's aura was outstanding, and his might was shocking. It was as if he was shrouded in celestial chi. He was truly a dragon among men. Behind him was a white-clothed lady with a hazy aura. No one could see her face clearly, but they could sense a unique charm from her. The 1,500 riders behind them were all in high spirits. Their auras were shocking, and they shook the entire royal city. The young men and women in the surroundings finally saw Yang Wu's true appearance, and they all cried out in surprise. The one sitting on the spirit demon turtle must be Yang Wu. He really looks extraordinary. He's a young hero indeed. His aura is like that of a divine general. No one in the royal city can compare to him. Yang Wu is so handsome. If I could marry him, I'd be willing to lose 10 years of my life. In the future, Yang Wu will be my goal. I want to be like him, make military contributions, and become someone respected by thousands. Time passed too quickly. I didn't see it clearly. How can it be like this? Yang Wu ignored these people's words. There was no complacency on his face. He only wanted to rush home as fast as possible to see his parents, whom he had not seen for a year. Wu, it's dark. Come back for dinner. You're still so young. Why are you practicing martial arts? If you fall, I'll be heartbroken. Wu, you fought with someone again today. Your face is all bruised and swollen. Tell me who did it. I'll go and reason with him. Wu, when you grow up, we'll be old. You have to protect yourself well. Don't let the Yang family be bullied. It'll be shameful. The words his parents said when he was young echoed in his ears. Traces of tenderness seeped into his heart. When he thought of his parents suffering a year in prison for him, he felt guilty and uncomfortable. When he got close to the door, his eyes became wet. He was nervous and afraid. He was afraid that his parents had grown old. Did they suffer a lot? Did they suffer a lot? Did they get bullied by the prison guards? Or were they humiliated by those people? These thoughts kept lingering in his mind, making him feel suffocated and uncomfortable. Meng Bingxue quietly held Yang Wu's hand. He was uncomfortable, and so was she. She wanted to bear all this for him, but she was powerless. At the same time, she didn't know how to comfort him. When Yang Wu got close to the Yang mansion, there was already a group of people there. A eunuch shouted, "The emperor has ordered Yang Wu to go to the palace and see the emperor." Waiting for the eunuch was an angry reply, "Get out of my way or die." Chapter 317. Imperial edicts represented the emperor's greatest command. Every eunuch who brought the imperial edicts out was like the emperor himself. Any high-ranking official or wealthy merchant had to treat them with great respect. This time, Eunuch Hai brought the imperial edicts to the Yang family. It was enough to show the emperor's great kindness to the Yang family. According to convention, the Yang family not only had to respect him, but also prepare a generous gift for him and send him back respectfully. However, Yang Wu had just returned and shouted such arrogant words, which instantly shocked everyone. Not only Eunuch Hai's group, but also the people surrounding the Yang residents were completely dumbfounded. Who would have thought that Yang Wu actually dared to openly defy the imperial edict? This was simply offending the whole world. Yang Wu's anger was shocking, and there was also the imposing manner of the 1,500 battle generals behind him. Eunuch Hai was so scared that he went limp and fell to the ground. You dare to defy the imperial edict? The little eunuch behind Eunuch Hai hurriedly helped him up. He pointed at Yang Wu and said in exasperation, "Shouho, make them scram." Yang Wu said coldly, "Yes, big brother." Shouho answered with a broken staff on his shoulder and swept towards Eunuch Hai's group. Without waiting for Eunuch Hai and the others to have any chance to react, they were ruthlessly thrown into the crowd, falling and not knowing what to do. This kind of overbearing behavior was definitely the first time in Royal City. Is Yang Wu crazy? How dare he do this? It's over. The dignified Count Xiaowu's title of Guardian General will probably be stripped and even be beheaded. This is a capital offense. How can General Yang Wu be so impulsive? Even if he's angry, he shouldn't be like this. The Yang family has been sealed for a year. General Yang Wu is young and full of vigor, but he shouldn't lose his composure like this. The people all around felt pity for Yang Wu. They felt that Yang Wu was definitely going to die. No one could still live well after defying the emperor's authority. In the crowd, there were two youths whispering to each other. Those with good eyesight could tell at a glance that they were female. These two girls were quite good-looking, especially the girl holding the white paper fan. Her lips were red, her teeth were white, her eyes were bright like the moon, and her skin was like jade. Just her appearance alone was incomparably stunning. Even though she was currently disguised as a man, it still could not hide her natural beauty. Young master, he's dead for sure. Your troubles have also been resolved. Let's go back. The young female attendant said to the young girl holding the white paper fan. The girl with the white paper fan had a complicated expression on her face as she said, "Let's wait and see." Oh. The young female attendant didn't dare to disobey. She obediently stayed there and didn't make another sound. However, she muttered in her heart, "This Yang Wu looks all right, but he's still far from being a match for the princess. In front of the Yang residence's scarlet door, two figures appeared. It was Yang Wu's father, Yang Jinan, and Yang Wu's mother, Su Romei. They both looked at their son, who was 100 zhang away. Their eyes became moist, especially Su Romei, who covered her mouth and cried bitterly. In this year of imprisonment, they had suffered some hardships and had also suffered a little. However, these were not the source of their pain. The most painful thing was not knowing whether their two sons were dead or alive. That kind of torment could not be understood unless one was a parent. When their son died, their hearts died. When their son was born, they worried about whether or not their son was doing well, whether or not he was being bullied by others, whether or not he could endure those sins. All kinds of thoughts would constantly fly through their minds. Now that their son had returned and become even more outstanding, their worries had completely dissipated and turned into endless gratification. As for the mistakes their son had just made, they had all been selectively forgotten. Yang Wu also saw his parents. His eyesight was extraordinary. Even if they were 100 zhang away, he could still see their appearances clearly. The wrinkles on his parents' faces had become more obvious, and their white hair had increased by quite a bit. They had both become much older. Yang Wu's eyes could not help but shed tears. His heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. It was so uncomfortable that he almost suffocated and fainted. Flesh and blood were connected to the heart. Blood was thicker than water. Family was priceless. Yang Wu jumped down from the silver-patterned tortoise. The 1,500 riders behind him all jumped down in unison. Their movements were extremely clean and neat, as if they had practiced it thousands of times. Yang Wu knelt heavily on the ground, directly smashing two deep pits in the ground. His head also fell to the ground almost at the same time, fiercely smashing into the ground. Bang! Father, mother, your son is unfilial and has caused you to suffer the calamity of imprisonment. I beg for your forgiveness. Yang Wu said with tears streaming down his face. They had raised him for more than 10 years, but he had not had the time to be filial to them. Instead, he had caused them to suffer the calamity of imprisonment. Behind Yang Wu, the people of the Death Corps all knelt down on one knee. Their master knelt down, so they had no choice but to kneel. Father, mother, your son is unfilial and has brought shame to the ancestors of the Yang family. Yang Wu knelt and moved forward 1 zhang. Once again, he kowtowed heavily and said loudly in remorse. He did not use any power to protect his body and kowtowed with all his strength. The skin on his forehead was scraped and blood seeped out. Yang Jinan and Su Romei both cried. The suffering they had suffered this year seemed to have disappeared without a trace in an instant. There was no longer any grievance or sadness. Wu, Su Romei cried and wanted to rush over to pick up her son, but she was stopped by Yang Jinan. He shook his head and said, "Let him vent." Yang Jinan was very gratified to have such a son. He also understood why Yang Wu had to kneel in front of everyone, because Yang Wu was truly remorseful. Father, mother, your son is unfilial and has caused little brother to be implicated and lose the position of the top scholar in the liberal arts. Bang! Father, mother, your son is unfilial and has caused everyone in the Yang family to suffer. Bang! Father, mother, your son is unfilial and has destroyed the loyalty of my Yang family. Every time Yang Wu walked 1 zhang, he would kowtow heavily to the ground. A small pit appeared on the ground from the kowtow, and there were still bloodstains on the surface of the pit. Every time he kowtowed, he was very forceful and did not have the slightest bit of water. More and more people gathered around to watch, and their eyes could not help but become moist. Some of these people were already parents, and some were children. No matter what kind of relationship it was, seeing Yang Wu like this, they were all deeply moved. As parents, they did not want their children to admit their mistakes to them. They only hoped that they could be like Yang Wu and have the courage to take responsibility for their mistakes. They did not need to kneel and kowtow like Yang Wu, and they were already satisfied. They really did not need much. As children, they were thinking about how they treated their parents who raised them. They were used to scolding, complaining, and criticizing their parents, which often caused them to worry. They did not know how to be filial, and their hearts were filled with regret. Yang Wu dared to kneel and kowtow to his parents in front of everyone, and it would definitely be a good story. Yang Wu had never thought about this. He only knew that his heart was incomparably uncomfortable, and his heart was filled with hatred for those who framed him. Those who hurt him were nothing, and the greatest hurt was on his family. His family was his reverse scale, and whoever touched it would die. "Young master, I really want to cry." The young girl could not suppress her impulse, and said. When she finished speaking, tears had already flowed down. The young girl holding the white paper fan had long been covered in tears, but she forced herself not to let her tears fall. "If you want to cry, then cry. What is there to be embarrassed about?" The young girl holding the white paper fan said in a choked voice. This young girl was none other than the current Grand Xia dynasty's Princess Tang Xiaoan. She was the emperor's most beloved daughter and the pearl of his palm. Ever since Tang Xiaoan slowly grew up, she knew that as a girl, she would definitely marry in the future, but she did not expect that day to come so quickly. She had only passed her 16th birthday less than half a year ago, and her father had already arranged a marriage for her without asking for her opinion. This caught her off guard and made her sad for a few days. After she sorted out her emotions, she sent people to inquire about Yang Wu from his birth to the present, as well as the people around him. She did not leave out a single word. After she looked at Yang Wu's information from a year ago, putting aside the matter of him and Tang Jiayin, she gave him an evaluation of average. This could only mean that Yang Wu did not meet her standards. She was the Grand Xia dynasty's princess, and she had been pampered since young. Even if she was educated, polite, and gentle, it did not mean that she was not picky. On the contrary, she was more picky than anyone else. Coupled with the matter of Yang Wu and Tang Jiayin, she put Yang Wu into an inferior evaluation. Regardless of whether Yang Wu was wronged or not, he had offended a princess and had his house confiscated. The major crime was Yang Wu's fault. Looking at his performance in the past year, rising up from prison and achieving outstanding military achievements at the border, she could give him an evaluation of high. In the end, she gave him an overall evaluation of above average. This kind of evaluation still did not meet the requirements in her heart, but it was still barely acceptable. The premise was that Yang Wu's performance when he returned to the city was good. If he could pass, perhaps she could only wrong herself. After all, she could not make things difficult for her imperial father. She had always been obedient and sensible since she was young. Ever since Yang Wu rushed back from outside the city, her evaluation of Yang Wu dropped again. She felt that Yang Wu was young and impulsive, not at all like a young hero who could achieve great military achievements. How could he achieve great things if he was so impetuous? She was even more disappointed after Yang Wu defied the imperial edict and threw Eunuch Hai and the others away. Even if Yang Wu's appearance was not bad, his actions were too radical. He did not consider the consequences at all and would definitely bring the Yang clan to eternal damnation once again. However, Yang Wu's sudden kneeling made her eyes brighten. Then, she heard him confess to his parents from the bottom of his heart, which moved her greatly. Even though she had lived a life of luxury since young and had never suffered much, she was educated and understood the principle of filial piety. Yang Wu was a dignified 7-feet-tall man, a guardian general, and a noble count of Xiaowu. For him to kneel in front of everyone in the hall and pay respects to his parents, this kind of intention was hard to come by. Men did not cry easily, only because their feelings had not reached the deepest part. In her heart, Yang Wu's evaluation instantly reached above average. Chapter 3:18. A distance of 100 feet was neither long nor short. For the current Yang Wu, it was only a distance of 1 or 2 steps. Now, it took him a full quarter of an hour to get close to his parents. Su Romei burst into tears, and Yang Zhenan's face was already covered in tears. "Wu, quickly get up. Don't kowtow anymore. Mother knows that you are a good child and doesn't blame you." Su Romei shook off Yang Zhenan's hand and threw herself at Yang Wu. She held her grown son in her arms and cried bitterly. "Mother, Yang Wu hugged Su Rome like a child who had done something wrong and cried out with grievance. That's right, he was really wronged. Ever since he was a child, he was a naughty child. However, he had never made his parents feel bad about important matters. It was because he rejected the princess Tang Jiaoyan that the things that happened after that happened. This was something that he had never expected. He felt wrong because he didn't do anything wrong, but he was framed and framed. He felt wronged because he was handsome. Was it wrong to reject a woman's proposal? He felt wronged because even if he was executed, he didn't want his parents to suffer any harm. All kinds of grievances simply seeped into his bones. Child, don't cry. Don't cry. Let's go inside first. Don't let others see a joke. Su Rome patted Yang Wu's back and comforted him. No matter how high her son's achievements were, in her mother's eyes, he would always be a child. Yang Wu stood up and wiped away his tears. He helped his mother wipe her tears and said, "Mother, don't worry. After crying this time, I won't cry again. War has grown up and is sensible." Mother is relieved, Su Rome said with relief. Yang Wu pulled his mother's hand and walked toward Yang Jinan. He called out, "Father, I'm back. It's good that you're back. How can a grown man like you be crying here? You've lost all the face of the Yang family. Hurry up and get in the house." Yang Jinan had already secretly wiped away his tears. He put on the look of a strict father and reprimanded Yang Wu. Yes, it was good that he was back. No matter what happened to his son outside, as a father, as long as his son returned safely, he would be satisfied. "I'm sorry, father. In the future, I will definitely not lose face for the Yang family," Yang Wu said solemnly. "All right, as long as you're safe, that's all that matters." Yang Jinan sighed softly. He looked at his son's appearance. Although he seemed to be doing well, he must have suffered a lot to be able to return to the royal city in just a year. Yang Wu turned around and beckoned to those close to him. "All of you come in together. The rest of you immediately guard my Yang family mansion. Whoever dares to force their way in, kill without mercy." "Yes, General." The 1,500 cavalrymen responded in unison. Their intimidating aura caused the surrounding people to retreat in fear. Just like that, Yang Wu brought Meng Bingxue, Wanlan Xin, Shou Ho, and Lu Ji into the house. The others stayed outside to guard, waiting for everything to calm down before making further arrangements. When Yang Wu entered the house, the others saw that there was no more drama to watch, so they gradually dispersed. They talked about what they had seen and heard today and talked about it after dinner. Yang Wu's name was known by everyone in the royal city. Inside the Yang family mansion, it used to be the Marquis Mansion, and it occupied a large area. It used to be decorated elegantly, but after the Marquis Mansion was confiscated, all the luxurious items, even the decorative rockery, were all taken away, leaving only the empty buildings intact. Recently, many officials and nobles had sent a lot of gifts, but Yang Jinan and his wife had rejected them all. They did not accept any gifts. Even the gifts sent by Su Rome's family were all returned. After going through the disaster of being imprisoned, they understood that there were very few people who would send charcoal in the snow, and there were many people who would add flowers to the brocade. They had seen through it all, so they did not accept these gifts easily, and waited for their son to come back and make the decision. Yang Wu looked at the desolate courtyard, but he did not care. He was back, and the Yang family would become more glorious than before. Before they reached the main hall, a maidservant came up to them and curtsied. "Welcome back, eldest young master." Yang Wu looked at her and immediately shouted with joy, "Sister Karen, you are fine. This is great." Before the Yang family mansion was confiscated, Yang Karen was out for some business, so she was not caught in one fell swoop, and she escaped. "Thank you for your concern, young master. Seeing your glorious return, this servant is very happy," Yang Karen said with a smile like a flower. Yang Wu said with emotion, "Sister Karen, you've been taking care of my parents these days. It has been hard on you. This is what this servant should do." Yang Karen's eyes fell on Meng Bingxue and Wanlan Xin, who were behind Yang Wu. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a complicated look. "Don't just stand there. Karen is not an outsider. Let's go inside and talk." Su Rome said, while holding Yang Wu's hand and Yang Karen's hand respectively. In a Yang family, Yang Karen was already considered a child daughter-in-law. Yang Jinan and Su Rome treated her like their own daughter, and Yang Wu and Yang Wen treated her like an older sister. As she grew older, Yang Karen became more and more beautiful and gentle. Who would be willing to marry such a woman? Su Rome already had the intention to let her marry her eldest son, even if it was a concubine. Now that she was holding Yang Karen's hand, it was clear that she wanted to marry her eldest son. Su Rome was an experienced person. She had already seen Meng Bingxue and Wan Lanxin. She could see that the relationship between these two women and her son was not simple. However, now was not the time to talk about life matters. Her son had grown up, so everything was up to him. After the group entered the Yang family's hall, Yang Karen went to prepare the guest's room as the housekeeper. She also had to worry about the food for the death corps. If it was before, she might not be able to do it alone, but now that she had another identity, such a small matter was not difficult for her. It was time for her to take the initiative to do something for the Yang family. Yang Wu saw that Yang Karen had changed completely from before, but he did not expose her. Everything would have to wait until everything settled down. After arriving at the hall, Yang Wu introduced the people behind him to his parents. After Yang Jinan and his wife heard Wan Lanxin, they revealed a surprised expression, especially Yang Jinan, who asked, "Are you Wan Lanxin's daughter?" "Yes, Uncle Yang." Wan Lanxin obediently replied. "No wonder he suddenly came to drink with me a few days ago. I finally know what's going on." Yang Jinan revealed a look of understanding. Yang Jinan and Wan Tianlong were old acquaintances. Later, when Wan Tianlong became the mountain prison's warden, their relationship faded. Yang Jinan still had a deep impression of Wan Lanxin. At that time, his son was always chasing after her. "Is my father okay?" Wan Lanxin asked with a touch of guilt. "He's okay." He said that after returning to King City, he can calm down and cultivate. In the future, it shouldn't be a problem for him to break through to the Earthsea realm. Yang Jinan replied, "Thank you for telling me, Uncle. I'll go back and see my father." Wan Lanxin said gratefully. She suddenly wanted to go home, so she immediately blurted out, "Go back. We'll meet again in 2 days." Yang Wu looked sideways at Wan Lanxin and said. Wan Lanxin looked at Yang Wu and nodded lightly. After bowing to Yang Jinan and Su Rome, she quickly left the Yang residence and returned home. Yang Wu sent Wan Lanxin off with his eyes and sighed in his heart. "Now that I've returned, I must give big sister Lanxin some additional compensation." Back in a mountain prison, in order to take care of him, Wan Lanxin didn't hesitate to part with her father and accompany him to join the army. Yang Wu never forgot this kindness. Even if he gave her a lot of compensation, in his opinion, it was far from enough. Only by treating her well for a lifetime would it be enough to express his gratitude to her. After that, Yang Wu chatted with his parents for a while before personally leading Shou Ho, Lu Ji, and the others to settle down. His parents also cooperated with Yang Karun to prepare for the reception. Now, in the large Yang residence, other than Yang Karun, there wasn't a single servant. With so many people coming all of a sudden, they didn't know what to do for a while. Yang Wu waved his hand and said, "Father, Mother, don't worry about it. Let's go to the Drunken Immortal restaurant." The Drunken Immortal restaurant was the largest restaurant in King City. It was a place that only high officials and nobles could afford. The food, there was all kinds of delicacies, and the price was very expensive. The number of people it could accommodate was also incomparable to other restaurants. "Wooer, you've suffered a loss once and haven't learned your lesson. We should keep a low profile to avoid being caught." Yang Jinan said earnestly. "That's right. Wooer, you just stay at home. Your father, Karen, and I will go prepare some food. It's good to stay at home and have some fun." Su Rome also agreed. "Father, Mother, you can rest assured. I know what I'm doing. This time, I won't be as easy to take advantage of as before," Yang Wu said with a strong sense of confidence. Thus, Yang Wu prepared to head to the Drunken Immortal restaurant to book the place before welcoming his parents. But before he could do anything, Yang Karun had already taken over the job and said, "Young master, I'll take care of this matter." You stay at home and accompany master and madam." After saying that, she strode out of the Yang residence with Anna's figure. Yang Wu looked at her back and didn't stop her. He was puzzled in his heart. Sister Karun is a bit strange. Could it be that she had another fortuitous encounter? While Yang Karun was heading to the Drunken Immortal restaurant, Shouho and Lu Ji tactfully left the hall. They left some time for Yang Wu and his parents to catch up. After there were no outsiders present, the family of three finally had time to talk to each other. At this time, Yang Wu's matter was being debated in the imperial palace. Most people suggested that Yang Wu disobeying the imperial edict in the streets was a disgrace to the imperial edict and deserved to be executed. There were also people who suggested that they should first send people to capture Yang Wu and bring him into the palace for interrogation. Chapter 319. The Drunken Immortal Inn was the largest inn in King City. The fact that it could stand tall in King City and not even the royal family dared to order them around was enough to prove its extraordinariness. Not only was an inn, but it was also an elegant place to drink wine. It occupied a large area in the city with many houses belonging to the Drunken Immortal Inn. The interior was decorated in a picturesque environment, making it an incomparably high-class establishment. The women who accompanied the guests here never received guests and only accompanied them. If the guests could make the women willing, they could privately take them away to do good deeds. However, the women here were not easily tempted by men and only accompanied them to drink. Yang Karen was also famous here. She didn't accompany the guests and only played music. The music she played was incomparably beautiful and elegant. She was known as the #1 musical concubine of King City and the #1 musical whore. The former was a compliment to her, while the latter was more or less an insult. After Yang Karen quietly arrived, a shopkeeper warmly greeted her. "Young Miss Tianyin is here." "Yes, immediately clear out the Drunken Immortal Inn. My young master wants to reserve it," Yang Karen lightly said. How is this the tone of a maid? This was simply an order to the shopkeeper. If there was a King Realm expert present, he would definitely be able to tell that this shopkeeper was a true peak General Realm expert. If Yang Karen was merely a servant of the Yang family, how could she dare to speak to him in such a manner? How could she allow him to call her miss? A marquis came to the inn today. The shopkeeper revealed a trace of awkwardness as he spoke. "I only want results. I'll bring someone over in a bit." Yang Karen responded and no longer wasted time with the shopkeeper as she turned around and returned to the Yang clan. The shopkeeper scratched the back of his head and then shouted, "Waiter, come over here. Our inn has been reserved today. Immediately clear it out." This time, the people in the Drunken Immortal Inn couldn't accept it. "We haven't eaten our fill yet. How can you drive us away? What the hell is going on? The money we spend isn't money. We won't leave. Let's go." Someone who can reserve the Drunken Immortal Inn is definitely not an ordinary person. Be obedient. There is someone behind the Drunken Immortal Inn. There is no need to offend them. Some people didn't want to leave, while others left early. Those who didn't want to leave were quickly thrown out. Those people wanted to ask more questions, but they felt a powerful aura coming from here. It was the pressure of a king, and they were so scared that they didn't dare to make a sound. A restaurant with a King Realm expert was enough to prove how extraordinary this place was. This time, another marquis was invited. He was Marquis Qiao San. He was an old marquis and had been in the imperial city for a long time. He was now a rank 1 official and a grand tutor of the imperial cabinet. His connections were directly connected to the imperial family. Currently, this Marquis Qiao San didn't care much about political affairs. He was more focused on cultivating the new generation of scholars. At the same time, he also enjoyed drinking wine. Every month, he would take 3 days to go to the Drunken Immortal Pavilion to listen to songs and drink some wine. This time, he originally wanted to invite the #1 G Tianyin to sing a song for him. Unfortunately, Tianyin wasn't here, so he could only regretfully miss it. However, he clearly saw Tianyin talking to the innkeeper upstairs. He didn't have time to invite her up before he was ordered to leave. He felt sullen in his heart. As an ironclad scholar and the teacher of the current emperor, when had he ever been treated like this? Unfortunately, the Drunken Immortal Inn didn't give him a chance to flip out and asked him to leave. This made him a marquis, lose even more face. Also, his guards were useless and were all thrown out. If he wasn't a marquis, he would have suffered the same fate. He didn't lose his mind and call for soldiers to deal with the drunken immortal inn. He knew that the drunken immortal inn had a deep background and might be related to a power in the transcendent realm. He didn't leave, but found a place outside the inn to sit down. He wanted to see who could make the drunken immortal inn clear out. Third Master Chiao was a wise, middle-aged man. He looked to be in his early 50s and had a ruddy complexion. He didn't look like an old antique who was already 70 years old at all. He wore an elegant green robe with a crown on his head, a jade belt around his waist, and a jade ring on his thumb. There was no doubt that he had the demeanor of an imperial preceptor. There were 3 people following behind him. All 3 of them had extraordinary strength and had reached the general realm. They were his personal guards. Just now, there was a brat who defied the imperial decree, and now there's a guy who booked the entire drunken immortal inn. Could it be the same person? Third Master Chiao muttered to himself. Not long after, a group of people quickly arrived in front of the drunken immortal inn. Third Master Chiao's old eyes widened as he muttered, "It really is the same brat." Third Master Chiao was a small legend in the royal city. His status was not as high as Prime Minister Song's, but sometimes his words were much more effective than Prime Minister Song's. He was the emperor's trusted aide. He had taught the emperor and the current princes before. He was the real imperial preceptor. At the same time, he was also friends with Yang Wu's grandfather. Unfortunately, after Yang Wu's grandfather disappeared, the relationship between their families faded. The Yang clan's incident was too sudden. Third Master Chiao didn't have time to speak up for the Yang clan. He didn't even have time to speak up for the Yang clan. This made him very unhappy. Yang Wen was his proudest disciple. When Yang Wen resigned as the top scholar in the liberal arts, Third Master Chiao was so angry that he fell ill for 3 days and 3 nights. Later, he even went to question the current emperor. Unfortunately, Yang Wen's whereabouts were unknown. Since then, Third Master Chiao became even more disappointed in the imperial court and didn't want to pay too much attention to it. He was satisfied with teaching those princes. The people who came to the Drunken Immortal restaurant were Yang Wu and his group. Yang Wu first welcomed his parents, then led the Brothers of the Death Legion into the Drunken Immortal restaurant. In the Drunken Immortal restaurant, many delicacies were served. The soldiers of the Death Legion hadn't enjoyed such delicacies in a long time. They were almost drooling. After Yang Wu had Yang Karen bring his parents into a private room, he said to the soldiers of the Death Legion, "Everyone has traveled thousands of miles to accompany this general back to the royal city. It must have been a tiring journey. Today, everyone will have a good meal here. Consider it as a cleansing of the dust of our brothers." "Commander, you're too polite," the soldiers replied to Yang Wu. Eat and drink to your heart's content. Don't worry that this commander won't be able to pay," Yang Wu replied. Yang Wu was about to go to the private room to accompany his parents when he caught a glimpse of Third Master Chiao, who wanted to come in. Third Master Chiao was stopped outside the restaurant. Yang Wu walked over and happened to hear the waiter say lazily, "Lord Marquis, this place has been reserved by our young Miss family. You should go elsewhere to drink today. I know them. If you let me in, I guarantee that I will be kept," Third Master Chiao said patiently. Just as the waiter was about to speak, Yang Wu walked over and said, "Let Grandfather Chiao in." The waiter looked back at Yang Wu and let Old Master Chiao in. However, the guards behind Old Master Chiao were stopped again. Third Master Chiao turned back and waved at the 3 guards. Then he walked over to Yang Wu and said with a smile, "Little Wu, it's rare that you still remember this old man." The first person to call Yang Wu Little Wu wasn't Sun Rue, but this Third Master Chiao in front of him. Back then, he called Yang Wu Matsi, which caused Yang Wu to be given a nickname. However, he didn't dare refute it, afraid that the old Marquis would take him to school. Yang Wu bowed deeply to Third Master Chiao and said, "Yang Wu greets Grandfather Chiao." Speaking of which, Third Master Chiao was half a teacher to Yang Wu. When Third Master Chiao was teaching Yang Wen, he had casually given him some advice. More importantly, Third Master Chiao was the most attentive to his younger brother's teachings. This bow was more for his younger brother's sake. I thought you, little Wu, had grown up. You don't even remember this old man. Third Master Qiao stroked his beard with satisfaction. Yang Wu said with a smile, "How would I dare? Didn't I just come back from the border to see my parents? I haven't even had the time to visit Grandfather Qiao yet." "Yes, you're in the limelight now. You went against the imperial edict, beat up the eunuch, and booked the drunken, immortal restaurant. Who in the imperial city doesn't know about you, Yang Wu?" Third Master Qiao said with deep meaning. "Grandfather Qiao, are you criticizing me for showing off?" Yang Wu asked in return. "Not bad, not bad. To be able to react so quickly, it seems like this year has been a great training for you." Third Master Qiao said with a faint smile. "Isn't that so?" Yang Wu said with a smile. After a pause, he said, "Grandfather Qiao, come and sit with me. My parents will be very happy to see you." "Forget it. Forget it. I won't disturb your family reunion today. I mainly came to see you. You've caused such a big mess, so I have to quickly clean up your mess. What happened a year ago was too sudden, and this old man couldn't play a role. This time, no matter what, I have to say a few words for you in front of the emperor so that my good disciple can quickly come back." Qiaosan waved his hand and simply turned to leave. Yang Wu watched Third Master Qiao leave, and his heart felt warm. He believed what Third Master Qiao had just said. This old man still missed his little brother. Yang Wu had never been to the Drunken Immortal restaurant before. He was a viscount, but he was still a young man. He didn't have the money to spend here, and he spent most of his time training. When he came to the private room, he looked at the delicacies. He thought the Drunken Immortal restaurant's reputation was well-deserved. At the same time, he looked at Yang Karen, who was standing next to his mother. He thought she had changed. "Wu, come sit next to your mother. Everyone is waiting for you." Surome waved at Yang Wu. Yang Wu walked over and said to Yang Karen, "Sister Karen, you should sit down. Don't always treat yourself as an outsider." "Yes, young master, sit down." "I'll sit down too," Yang Karen said with a sincere look. Yang Wu sat down, and Yang Karen sat down as well. The Yang family was her benefactor. Without the Yang family, there would be no her. She was a member of the Yang family when she was alive, and she would be a ghost of the Yang family even in death. No one could change this. Chapter 320. When Yang Wu's family was halfway through their meal, another imperial edict arrived at the Drunken Immortal restaurant. Yang Wu quickly come out to receive the edict. This time, it was not a eunuch who came to deliver the edict, but Meng Helong. Meng Helong had already become the emperor's trusted aide, and his strength had reached the king realm. His voice was full of energy, and every corner of the Drunken Immortal restaurant could hear it clearly. Yang Jinan and Meng Helong were sworn brothers, so he was very familiar with Meng Helong's voice. He put down his chopsticks and said, "Brother Meng is here." Yang Wu calmly said to his father, "Father, don't worry about him. He can't even eat a good meal. He's really annoying." After saying this, he stood up and prepared to send Meng Helong away. "You can't not accept the imperial edict, Wu. Don't be impulsive," Su Rome said with a trace of worry. "Mother, don't worry, I know what to do," Yang Wu said as he patted the back of his mother's hand and walked out. Yang Wu arrived outside the restaurant and saw that Meng Helong was not allowed to enter. He was even more shocked by the Drunken Immortal restaurant. Wherever the imperial edict went, there was no one who didn't kneel to receive it. The Drunken Immortal restaurant even dared to block it outside the door. Only a power from the transcendent realm would dare to do this. After Meng Helong saw Yang Wu, he quickly said, "Yang Wu, quickly accept the imperial edict." His tone already had a hint of pleading. He really didn't want Yang Wu to refuse the imperial edict again, otherwise he would be in a difficult position. Yang Wu didn't answer the question and said, "Can't you let people eat a good meal?" "Yang Wu, don't be like this," Meng Helong said sullenly. "What am I doing? I'm telling you not to be like this. Go back and tell the emperor that Yang Wu will enter the palace in 3 days. Don't rush me, it's annoying," Yang Wu said as he picked his ears. Many people outside the restaurant were shocked when they saw his impatient look. Not only did he defy the imperial edict, but he also did it in such a matter-of-fact manner. He simply did not place the imperial edict in his eyes. This was a great disrespect to the current emperor. Yang Wu, do you know what happened to Shui Gui? Meng Helong could no longer talk nicely to Yang Wu. He could only resort to threats. Yang Wu stared blankly for a moment. Then a trace of coldness appeared on his face as he faintly said, I, Yang Wu, am not Shui Gui. After he finished speaking, he did not waste any more words with Meng Helong. He turned around and returned to the private room. Meng Helong looked at Yang Wu's back and gently sighed. He could only turn around and leave. Everyone in the royal city knew about Shui Gui's death. However, they were forbidden from spreading what happened that day. Those who disobeyed the order would be executed. Yang Wu had just returned, so he did not know how Shui Gui died. However, he did not need to think to know that Shui Gui would not have a good ending. Meng Helong's words also proved that the person in the royal palace could not bear it anymore. However, it did not matter. He was still fearless. Shui Gui was once one of the 10 kings. Yang Wu was not one of the 10 kings. However, he was not afraid of any of them. Moreover, Meng Bingxue was always by his side. Who in the royal palace would dare to harm him? Of course, he did not think that he was invincible, nor did he want to be the enemy of the entire dynasty. He just wanted to make one thing clear. He would not let anyone bully him anymore. Yang Wu ate this meal very happily. Even though he was worried about something, he was not afraid. After he ate with his parents, he raised a wine cup and drank with his brothers of the Death Legion. He completely let go of himself and accompanied them to get drunk. The soldiers of the Death Legion were used to hard days at the border. It had been a long time since they were so indulgent. Every one of them ate and drank to their heart's content. They kept drinking with Yang Wu. The atmosphere was very lively. Outside, Meng Helong came again. Zhu Mo, the commander of the Imperial Guards, came with him. Behind him was a group of 2,000 Imperial Guards. The Imperial Guards surrounded the drunken, immortal restaurant. They did not dare to attack. They were waiting for Yang Wu and his group to come out and take them down. Yang Wu, come out and receive the order. Meng Helong shouted again. Yang Wu pretended not to hear and continued to drink with his men. Yang Wu, don't be stubborn. If you don't come out and receive the order, you will all die. Meng Helong threatened. Yang Wu asked his men, Brothers, are you afraid? What's there to be afraid of? Others call us the Death Legion. It's either they die or we die. We've been lucky to be able to live until today and follow the commander. That's right. Even if we die for the general today, we won't even frown. It's our honor to be a soldier under the general. It's also the general's merit to be able to come back alive from the border. Our lives belong to the general. As long as the general gives the order, we will kill our way out. The Imperial Guards are nothing. Everyone in the Death Legion was unafraid of death. They were not afraid at all. Instead, they were filled with killing intent. Haha, I, Yang Wu, am very proud to have brothers like you. Don't worry. With this general here, I won't let you die. Yang Wu laughed happily. Just as Yang Wu turned around to speak with Meng Helong's group, a voice rang out from within the drunken immortal inn. Everyone outside the inn leave. Don't disturb the esteemed guests of the drunken immortal inn. This voice was incomparably ethereal and difficult to grasp. It also contained an incomparably domineering might, causing the Imperial Guards outside to reveal looks of shock. Zhu Mo and Meng Helong felt it the most. They were both kings, so their perception was extraordinary. The aura of the person who spoke now seemed to be that of a peak king. It might even be an existence that surpassed the king rank. Retreat. Zhu Mo didn't even think as he shouted at the Imperial Guards. He already knew that the drunken immortal inn was a place that couldn't be provoked. Now he finally understood what was going on. This was a place where a great expert was guarding. The Imperial Guards retreated like the receding tide. Now it was finally peaceful. Yang Wu was even more aware of the extraordinariness of the drunken immortal inn. Moreover, he was even more shocked by Yang Karen's transformation. What does Big Sister Karen have to do with this place? Yang Wu asked in his mind. After Zhu Mo and the others retreated, they quickly entered the palace to meet the emperor. After the emperor heard Zhu Mo and Meng Helong's report, his brows furrowed. It could be seen that he was really angry. Your Majesty, what is the origin of the drunken immortal inn? How dare they protect a traitor like this? Zhu Imo asked the emperor. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, the emperor said sternly. Zhu Imo immediately shut his mouth. In the hall, other than Zhu Imo and Meng Helong, Third Master Qiao was also present. He said, Your Majesty, this matter shouldn't be rushed. Teacher, how can we not be anxious about this matter? I have already listened to your suggestion and betrothed Xiaohan to him. He still dares to be so rude and put on airs. He wants to make us lose face. If we endure this, won't we have to give him the dragon throne in the future? The emperor said with incomparable anger. Your Majesty, please calm down. Yang Wu, this child is angry. Once he has vented his anger, he will be obedient. If your Majesty really wants to take him down now, he will definitely rebel. This is not good for our court. It will also make some people clap their hands and cheer. Third Master Qiao advised. Teacher, are we just going to let it go like this? The emperor's anger still hadn't subsided. Your Majesty, you should have already gathered information about Yang Wu's situation, right? Third Master Qiao asked. The emperor nodded and said, I'm clear. What does that mean? He is already a young king. I'm afraid the relationship behind him is related to the drunken immortal inn. What do you think? Third Master Qiao said with wisdom. This time, the emperor slightly shivered and pondered for a moment. Then, he revealed a bit of depression. He didn't know what to say. If Yang Wu really has a relationship with the drunken immortal inn, he really can't get back his face. How can he swallow this anger? Your Majesty, this old minister has something to say, but I don't know if it's appropriate. Teacher, please speak. Jin will not blame you. Yang Wu can only be won over, but not offended. Prime Minister Song, Prime Minister Song. Prime Minister Song welcomed a distinguished guest. Prince Fuan Prime Minister Song was a high official, but his status was worse than Prince Fuan. He always visited Prince Fuan, but this time it was Prince Fu and who came to visit him, which made him a bit scared. Your Highness came. Lirue didn't greet you. Prime Minister Song quickly greeted Prince Fu in Prime Minister Song. You don't need to be so polite. Prince Fuan replied. After the two exchanged a few polite words, they went to the study room together. Tang Jian, who came with Prince Fuan, followed Song Yuming to another place to talk. Song Yuming, didn't you say that your family will come to propose marriage? Why hasn't there been any movement yet? Tang Jian questioned Song Yuming with a dissatisfied expression. Junju, it's not that I don't want to propose marriage, but my father said that now is an eventful time, so we should postpone it for a few days. When the time comes, we will come with a big gift to propose marriage. Song Yuming replied. Did your family change their mind because Yang Wu came back? Tang Jiayan coldly snorted and said, How can that be? Who does Yang Wu think he is? He is destined to become a ghost like Shui Gui. Song Yuming replied, Do you think he will really die? I heard he has become very powerful now. Tang Jiayan said with a trace of worry. He slapped the emperor's face. How can he not die? Song Yuming said. Then, Song Yuming approached Tang Jiayan and held her hand, then said with a trace of eagerness, Junju, why don't you go to my room to talk? It's not convenient to talk here. Tang Jiayan looked at Song Yuming's appearance and knew what he wanted to do. Her face blushed and said, What do you want to do in broad daylight? Hey, it's more convenient to talk in the room during the day. Song Yuming's anxious look was completely written on his face, as if he was afraid that others would not know what he wanted to do. Chapter 321. As night fell, the scent of early summer could be faintly smelled. Many people took advantage of the bright moonlight to walk out of the courtyard under the trees. Yang Wu and his group had already returned to the Yang Mansion. The Death Legion had occupied every corner of the courtyard. Fortunately, Yang Wu's grandfather was once a marquis. The courtyard of the Yang Mansion was not small and could accommodate the Death Legion. These people were used to using the sky as their blanket and the ground as their bed. They did not accept Yang Wu's arrangement to stay in the Drunken Immortal Tavern. Instead, they returned with him and waited for Yang Wu's orders. Yang Wu was touched by their loyalty and would think of a way to settle them down as soon as possible. Yang Wu did not plan to return to the border, so the Death Legion would naturally follow him. He had to make them become Yang family generals. After everyone had settled down, Yang Wu talked to his parents alone. Wu-er, you disobeyed the imperial edict. The emperor will not let us go. Where did you get the courage to go against the imperial court? Yang Jinan asked. I knew father would be worried about this. Have a cup of tea with mother first. Listen to me talk about my experiences in the past year. Yang Wu held his father's shoulders and let him sit down. Then he recounted his experiences in the past year. Yang Wu did not talk about all his experiences. He only talked about the important points. He directly ignored the setbacks and difficulties he encountered. Little Hei's identity was replaced by his mysterious master. Otherwise, he was afraid that it would scare the two elders. Yang Jinan and Su Romei were both experienced people. Even if Yang Wu did not talk about the hardships, they could imagine how much hardship Yang Wu had suffered in the past year from Yang Wu's words. Su Romei's tears fell like rain. Yang Jinan's eyes also became a little moist. He held back his tears and only clenched his fists. His nails dug into his flesh and blood seeped out. What kind of hardships did his son go through during his transition from the mountain prison to the army that allowed him to rise and become a king within a year? Even if their son had a fortuitous encounter and received guidance from a famous teacher, he still had to rely on himself to survive in the mountain prison. There were countless villains there, and all of them were stained with blood. Their son's strength had been crippled, and it was already difficult for him to survive. How could he possibly defeat the prison slaves and fight for the Crimson Steel Horse in the army? Even if they possessed a certain level of martial strength, the barbarians were ferocious and could fight against 5 people at once. So, how did their son manage to kill so many barbarians to atone for his sins? Not to mention, how did he manage to become a general? He must have suffered a lot behind the scenes. Wu-er, father and mother are useless. Su Romei sobbed. Their son was so young, yet he had already suffered such a great crime. As parents, they were unable to protect him, so their hearts were naturally filled with grief. In the hearts of parents, no matter how big a crime their child committed, they would not blame their child. Only when parents were unable to do something for their child would they feel that they were so useless. This kind of feeling, if one was not a parent, they would not be able to understand. Yang Wu held his mother's shoulder and said, Mother, don't be like this. Aren't I fine? Only by enduring the most bitter of hardships can one rise above others. Isn't this what little brother always reads in the books? That's right. If a jade is not cut, it will not become useful. If it were not for this ordeal, Wu would not have been able to achieve what he has today. It is all thanks to the blessings of the Yang ancestors. Yang Jinan said emotionally. After a pause, he said, Wu, even though you already have the help of a mysterious teacher and have become the medicine king, which may make the imperial court fear you, it does not mean that the imperial court will always indulge you. I think you should think of a way to ease your relationship with the imperial court. Even if you do not think for yourself, you should think of your little brother. Yes. Wu, you have to think of Wen. He is the top scholar in the liberal arts. In the future, he may even return to the imperial court as an official. Su Romei echoed from the side. Father, mother, you can rest assured. If I were to fall out with the imperial court, I would directly rebel. Why would I play these little tricks with them? I just want those who frame me to attack our Yang family. Everyone knows that I, Yang Wu, am not so easily bullied. Let them feel fear first. Yang Wu explained. After a pause, he said, Father, what is the situation with your body? Right now, I can help you solve your body's old illness and let you return to the Earthsea realm. Yang Jinan said excitedly, Really? He used to be the king of the Earthsea realm. It was only because something happened that he was harmed, causing his realm to fall. Moreover, it was getting more and more serious. His strength had already regressed to the strength of an ordinary general. You don't trust your son that much? Yang Wu said as he spread out his hands. Of course I trust you. I was poisoned by the corroding, mysterious palm. There's a strange force that is destroying my strength and vitality. Your father used to be at the middle level of the Earthsea realm, but now he only has the strength of a junior general. I'm afraid that in a few days, I won't even be at the general level. Yang Jinan laughed and told his father about his situation. If it's that serious, why didn't you say so earlier? Su Rome said as she looked at her husband worriedly. What's the point of me telling you? This corroding, mysterious palm should be the famous palm technique of the poisonous toad on the Black Hand list. Maybe it wasn't him who did it, but it definitely has something to do with him. Yang Jinan judged. The poisonous toad on the Black Hand list has already been killed by me, Yang Wu said with a sharp glint in his eyes. He then said, I forgot to do something. Tomorrow, I'll have someone hang the heads of those fellows on the Black Hand list outside our house. Let's see who else dares to be arrogant in front of us. The people on the Black Hand list made a move against you? Yang Jinan asked with a trace of worry in his eyes. Yang Wu then gave a simple account of the battle that happened before they entered the city. This left Yang Jinan and Su Rome dumbstruck. They didn't think that their son had already grown to this level. There was indeed no need for them to worry about him. Yang Wu grabbed his father's hand and began to examine the situation inside his father's body. He sensed that his father's strength was already extremely weak. Moreover, a lot of his vitality had been corroded. Everything was because of his father's body and willpower. If it was anyone else, they would have died long ago. Yang Wu pondered for a moment before saying, Father, I'll go refine pills right now. Is it very serious? Yang Jinan asked. It's fine. Everything is under control. Yang Wu replied. Then, he separated from his parents and returned to his room. His room was a new bed that had been added at the last minute. Everything that belonged to him had been cleared out long ago. There was nothing left. Yang Wu quietly thought about how to deal with the poison in his father's body. According to his investigation, his father's strength was about to be completely depleted. There was still the corrosive energy that needed to be expelled. In the alchemy manual that Lil He had passed on to him, there were many ways to deal with the poison. However, the best way to deal with it was to not only get rid of the corrosive energy in his father's body, but also to restore his father's strength to its peak. This was not an easy task. After thinking for a while, Yang Wu decided to first detoxify his father's corrosive energy. This required a detoxification pill. The detoxification pill was different from ordinary detoxification pills. This was a kind of king-level detoxification pill that could dissolve more advanced toxins. After detoxifying his father's poison, he planned to refine a qi reversal pill. This was a kind of heaven-level pill. Not only could it help his father regain his vitality, but it could also help him restore his strength to its peak. It could even improve his physique and help him break through to the heavenly fish realm in the future. The Qi Reversal Pill was a kind of pill in the Advanced Alchemy Manual. The main medicinal ingredients required were in a heaven-level category, which was not easy to find. At present, Yang Wu also had several heaven-level medicinal ingredients on him. Only one or two of them could be used. He still lacked one or two main ingredients, which would have to be found elsewhere. Yang Wu first quickly began to refine the detoxification pill. He condensed 6 pills in one furnace. The rate of condensation was already very frightening. He couldn't wait to send it to his father. His father's corrosive energy could not be delayed any longer. Yang Jinan did not expect his son to refine the pill for him so quickly. He was not in the mood to sleep anymore. He first took the pill to see how it worked. Yang Jinan took the detoxification pill on the spot and sat down cross-legged. He mobilized his aura and divided the medicinal efficacy. Su Rome watched nervously from the side, hoping that her husband would be fine. Yang Wu held his mother's hand and whispered, "Mother, don't worry. Father will definitely get better." Su Rome nodded and leaned against her son as they waited. After a long while, Yang Jinan finally reacted. His face revealed a pained expression as he spat out a mouthful of black blood. His body fell to the ground on the spot. This scared Su Rome so much that her beautiful face turned pale. Yang Wu rushed over and helped his father up. He probed his father's body with his power and found that most of the poison had been eliminated. However, there was still a stubborn corrosive poison that was corroding his father's life force at an accelerated rate. This corrosive poison is so vicious. Yang Wu sighed softly. Without thinking, he said to his father, "Father, my power has seeped into your body. Don't resist. Let me help you clean up this corrosive poison in one go." In the next moment, he channeled the power of the heart fire into his father's body. This was the power of the Supreme Yang. It turned into a power that seeped into every part of his father's body and began to burn the remaining corrosive poison. After the corrosive poison felt the Supreme Yang power, it seemed to be frightened and fled in all directions. The power of the detoxification pill continued to work together with the power of the heart fire to clean up the corrosive poison. This corrosive poison was terrifying. After it floated out of Yang Jinnan's body, it actually seeped in the direction of Yang Wu. Wu-er, be careful. Su Rome couldn't help but cry out when she saw the black mass rushing toward her son from the side. Just as the corrosive poison was about to touch Yang Wu's body, a blue flame floated up. The corrosive poison met its nemesis and was quickly burned clean. It couldn't get close to Yang Wu's body at all. Phew, father's corrosive poison is all gone, Yang Wu said with a light sigh. Chapter 3:22. Yang Jinan woke up. The sky was bright. This was the best sleep he had had in the past 2 years. He was no longer tormented by the corrosive power, and he didn't have to think about how to suppress the pain he was feeling. Brother Nan, you're awake. How do you feel? Su Rome asked softly beside him. I haven't slept so well in a long time. Yang Jinan stretched and smiled. Our son is amazing. He really removed the poison from your body. Su Rome said happily. Yes, it seems that we don't need to worry about him anymore. After experiencing this setback, he has already been reborn. He is no longer a child, but a powerhouse who can take charge of an area. Yang Jinan said with incomparable relief. That's right. Our 2 children are very outstanding. Su Rome said with a hint of pride. After a pause, she said, I miss Wen-er. He's been weak since he was young and only knows how to study. I don't know if he can take care of himself. Yes, when Wu-er's matter is solved, we will find a way to bring Wen-er back. Then our family can be reunited. Yang Jinan replied. In another room, Yang Wu didn't sleep at all. Last night, after he removed his father's poison, he returned to his room to continue refining pills. This time, what he was refining was called the face-retaining pill. This was a king-level pill that could protect one's face and restore the luster of one's skin. It could keep one's face for 10 years. He was going to give this pill to his mother. It also had other uses. It was the best pill to resolve the current situation. When Yang Wu came out of his room, he saw Yang Karen walking towards him. She was carrying a basin of clear water. Her sleeves were rolled up, revealing her tender lotus-like arms that were suffused with a faint luster. It was very moving. Yang Karen was dressed simply, but it couldn't hide her natural beauty. Her face was like the moon, and her eyes were like waves. She was tall and curvy. Compared to Wan Lanxin, she was less heroic, but more gentle. Compared to Meng Bingxue, she was less perfect, but more charming. Yang Wu and Yang Wen had always treated Yang Karen as their biological sister since they were young. They had never had any improper thoughts, even until now. Eldest young master, come wash your face. Yang Karen, on the other hand, was different for what they thought. She had always been respectful to the 4 members of the Yang family. She had never forgotten her identity as a servant and would never do anything that was out of line. Yang Wu didn't stand on ceremony with Yang Karen. He took the towel that she handed over and washed his face. After he was done, he didn't immediately return the towel to Yang Karen. Instead, he looked straight at her and asked, Sister Karen, how do you think my parents treat you? As close as a child, Yang Karen answered without thinking. Then how do I treat you? Yang Wu asked again. As close as a sister, Yang Karen answered again. Then what secrets are you hiding from us? Yang Wu cut to the chase and asked. Yang Karen smiled, revealing a trace of charm. Looking at her, Yang Wu felt his heart beat faster. He felt that she was even more beautiful than before. What secret could I have? It's just that after the incident in the house, I was lucky enough to meet my master. He taught me some sound techniques and made me the new owner of the Drunken Immortal House. Yang Karen said without hiding anything. Yang Wu was stunned for a moment and said, Sister is the owner of the Drunken Immortal House. Yang Karen nodded and said, To be precise, I am temporarily in charge of it. Actually, I don't care about it. This is my home, isn't it? Sister Karen, tell me what happened. Yang Wu seriously asked. You don't need to ask. In short, I will not harm anyone in the family. Yang Karen refused to answer. She paused for a moment and said, When I entered Prince Fu Yin's mansion, I heard Tang Jiayin and Song Yuming talking about you. It was indeed them who harmed you. At that time, I really wanted to kill them. Unfortunately, my sound technique was not perfect, so I didn't dare to act rashly. I rushed to the border to look for you, but I couldn't find any trace of you. Now that you are back, I will let you take your revenge. I will find them to settle the account. Yang Wu softly said. Then he still asked, Sister Karen, are you really okay? With my current ability, even if I face a super strong heavenly realm expert, I can make them kneel down. Yang Karen smiled and said, I know young master is powerful. If something really happened, I will definitely tell you. After pausing for a moment, she thought of something. Her face showed a trace of sadness and said, I may not be able to serve master and madam for a long time. Is it because of the drunken immortal house? Yang Wu asked. Yang Karen nodded her head and said, Yes, master wants to take me away and teach me a more advanced sound technique. I have no choice but to agree. If you don't want to go, then no one will let you go. Yang Wu said domineeringly. I know. In fact, I was thinking that if I learn a more advanced sound technique, not only will I have the ability to protect myself, but I will also be able to protect our Yang mansion in the future. I will only leave for a short time, but I will definitely come back in the future. Yang Karen said with a slightly forced smile. Then, she added, Before I leave, I will make the Yang mansion beautiful again. Yang Wu felt inexplicably sad. When did their Yang family need a woman to protect them? He didn't continue to ask about Yang Karen. She should have her own life, as long as there was nothing wrong with it. Yang Wu took out a face-preserving pill and gave it to Yang Karen. He told Yang Karen about the effects of this face-preserving pill. Yang Karen gladly accepted it and smiled incomparably happily. Which woman didn't care about their own appearance? Yang Wu went to see his parents and checked on his father's condition. After finding that there were no problems, he was relieved. Then he took out some pills and gave them to the two elders. Here were some cultivating energy pills and face-preserving pills. They could increase their vitality and allow them to regain their former glory. In these 2 days, Yang Wu didn't leave the Yang mansion. He stayed with his parents and chatted with them, making up for the joy they had lost in the past year. There were no more imperial edicts coming out of the palace. It was as if everything had been put to rest or was brewing a bigger move to deal with Yang Wu. On the 3rd day, Yang Jinan brought Yang Wu to the ancestral hall behind their courtyard. This was the only place that hadn't been raided. After all, this was the Yang family's ancestral hall, and they worshipped the Yang family's ancestors. To outsiders, it was a place of bad luck, and no one wanted to casually approach. Back then, the people who raided the house were just going through the motions. They swept through the place and left when they found that there was nothing worth paying attention to. After Yang Jinan was released, he cleaned up the place again and restored it to its original appearance. Yang Wu didn't know what his father meant by this. He wondered if he should burn incense and repent to the Yang family's ancestors. When they arrived, Yang Jinan did let him burn incense and kowtow to the Yang family's ancestors. Our Yang family has taken root here for 200 years. In front of you are great-grandfathers and great-uncles. They're all our Yang family's ancestors. Yang Jinan said. After Yang Wu respectfully saluted and lit the incense, he said, Father, where is our grandfather? Is he missing, or where did he go? Yang Wu still had a vague impression of his grandfather. It was a pity that he couldn't remember it clearly. At that time, he was too young, and it had been a long time. Your grandfather went to search for his roots and ancestors. I don't know if he's dead or alive. Yang Jinan sighed heavily. Search for his roots and ancestors. Yang Wu said with a puzzled expression. That's right. Our Yang family's ancestral home isn't in Xia. Your grandfather said that it should be in the transcendent realm. We were exiled, Yang Jinan said. He then said, I don't know if this is true or not. Your grandfather told me. Now, I'll tell you that you've already reached the Earth-Sea realm and even become a medicine king. You're not inferior to your grandfather back then. In the future, when you have the opportunity to go to the transcendent realm, You can find out where our Yang family's roots are." As he said this, he walked towards a dark corner. There were some old tables and chairs placed there. He moved the tables and chairs away and said to Yang Wu, "Dig 3 meters from here and take a look." Yang Wu didn't know what his father wanted to do. He walked over and punched the ground with his bare hands, causing a deep hole to appear. Yang Wu condensed his strength into a claw and dug out the soil in the hole. Soon, he found a metal box at the bottom. He picked it up. This was a long metal box about 3 meters long. Under the corrosion of the soil, it didn't have the slightest bit of rust. It still looked smooth and clear. Its quality was definitely extraordinary. Yang Jinan said to Yang Wu, "Open it and take a look." Thus, Yang Wu opened the metal box and quickly saw what was inside. It was a mighty spear soldier. Its body was bright and clean, with dragon and phoenix patterns carved on it. The spearhead was as sharp as a dragon's claw. It flickered with a cold light and emitted an oppressive aura. Yang Wu felt a throbbing sensation. He sighed and said, "What a good spear soldier. This is our ancestors' weapon." There's a scroll of spear techniques inside. You could take a look. They've all reached the heaven realm. Yang Jinan calmly said. It was as if he had seen this spear soldier and its spear techniques before. Yang Wu took the ancient scroll from the box. On the scroll were the words, "Yang Family Spear Manual," written in ancient characters. He flipped through it, and his pupils shrank. This was a top-notch heaven realm spear art. From this, he could tell that the Yang family's origin was indeed extraordinary. If it was an ordinary family, how could they have such a weapon and battle technique? It was impossible. "Father, our family's origin is so great," Yang Wu said softly. "Yes. Otherwise, how could your grandfather become a marquis, and how could I inherit the title of count? It's all because our Yang family's bloodline is extraordinary. We've even produced king realm cultivators. That's why we're valued by the royal family. Unfortunately, they're blind." Yang Jinan revealed an arrogant expression. He paused and said, "From now on, you'll inherit the Yang family's dragon rebel spear and Yang family spear technique. You're the new head of the Yang family." Chapter 323. The dragon rebel spear was a heavenly weapon refined from the bones and tendons of a dragon. Its quality was extremely high, and not even Yang Wu's double-edged triple dragon spear could compare to it. The Yang family spear manual was split into 7 moves. White snake's tongue, flood dragon leaves water, black tiger crouching, black dragon swings its tail, azure dragon steals its heart, flaming cloud churning, and dragon rises to the heavens. This was a spear technique passed down in the Yang family, and only members of the Yang family could cultivate it. That was what was written in the manual, but Yang Wu had no idea if that was the truth or not. In short, when he held the dragon rebel spear, he felt like he was connected to it by blood. This spear should have been infused with the essence blood of his Yang family's ancestor, so it had the same origin as him. "Father, you should keep this dragon rebel spear. I don't need it." Yang Wu returned the spear to his father. "Why is that?" Yang Jinan asked. "This is the spear of our Yang family's ancestor, and you're the patriarch of the Yang family, so it's more suitable for you to hold it. You're still young." Yang Wu smiled. "Silly child, even if I recover to my peak strength, I probably won't be as strong as you. This dragon rebel spear is like stealing a pearl from the shadows in my hands. I won't be able to use its full power." Yang Jinan smiled happily. Yang Wu was able to resist the temptation of the dragon rebel spear and lose himself. This was enough for him to be proud of his son. Yang Wu was not even 18 yet, but he was able to remain firm in his heart and not be swayed by external things. His future achievements would definitely not be simple. "Father, there's no need to say anything more. I can recover your strength and make you even stronger. As for me, I already have a weapon that suits me, so I don't want to change it. I'll definitely cultivate our Yang family's spear manual and pass it down in the future," Yang Wu said with certainty. Yang Jinan saw Yang Wu's insistence, so he didn't insist. However, the dragon rebel spear was too important, and he couldn't reveal it to avoid unnecessary trouble. Therefore, Yang Jinan buried the dragon rebel spear again. The box that sealed the dragon rebel spear was extraordinary. After covering it, It was able to isolate the dragon rebel spear's presence without leaking out at all. This was also the reason why it was buried here without being discovered. After doing all this, the father and son once again returned to the courtyard. "Father, I'll go see the emperor tomorrow," Yang Wu said to Yang Jinan. Watch your words. Don't be impulsive anymore." Yang Jinan patted Yang Wu's shoulder and said. After Yang Jinan left, little He appeared out of nowhere and said, "Kid, let me have a look at the gun manual you just obtained." "Take it." Yang Wu straightforwardly handed the manual to little He. Xiao He squatted down with his front paws and quickly flipped through the spear manual like a human. Looking at the chants and diagrams in the manual, his eyes were filled with astonishment. After a while, he stuffed the manual back into Yang Wu's hands and said, "This spear manual is not bad. If you have time, practice more. There aren't many things that can catch your eye. It seems like my Yang family's origins are rather mysterious." Yang Wu said in surprise. Of course. Your Yang family is a good surname." Little He replied. "It seems like you're very familiar with our Yang family." "Not very familiar, but very familiar. Keep bragging." In another lower-middle-class residence in the royal city, this mansion was the home of officials. This could be seen from the decorations at the entrance. Only officials in King City were allowed to place auspicious beasts and guards in front of their doors. Other wealthy families and commoners did not have this right. The words "One Mansion" were engraved on the flat forehead of the mansion, while the words "inferior" were engraved on the bottom right corner. This meant that this was an inferior mansion, not even a medium mansion. The courtyard inside the mansion was not very big. There were 2 rows of rooms on the left and right, with a large hall in the middle and a small courtyard in the back. There were not many servants walking around, making it seem rather quiet. This mansion was the residence of the current deputy supervisor of the heavenly prison, Wan Lanxin's home. Ever since Wan Tianlong returned from the Wolf Smoke Mountain prison, he was given a new job as the deputy supervisor of the heavenly prison. This position was the same as the warden of the Wolf Smoke Mountain prison. Unfortunately, the power he held was much smaller, and he basically had no say in the prison. Actually, with his status, it was impossible for him to establish a mansion. However, he had the status of a hereditary baron. Although it was lower than Yang Wu's status as viscount, it was still exclusive to nobles. Thus, he could maintain the words "one mansion." In the backyard of the hall, a father and daughter were talking in a pavilion. This father and daughter were naturally Wan Tianlong and Wan Lanxin. "Father, listen to me. Resign from that job. I'll take care of you," Wan Lanxin said to her father. On the day she returned, she was scolded by her father. She listened and did not retort. When her father was tired of scolding, she sighed and said, "It's my fault for not being able to protect you. I'll let you suffer." All parents in the world were pitiful. Wan Lanxin threw herself into her father's arms and cried bitterly for a while. She cried out all the grievances she had suffered over the past year. Now, she already knew her father's current situation, which was why she said this to him. "Do you dislike your father for being old and useless?" Wan Tianlong replied with a wry smile. Ever since he returned from the mountain prison, his aura had become much more depressed. He was no longer as high-spirited as he was in the mountain prison. Moreover, he appeared much older. It was obvious that he did not have a good time after being called back to the heavenly prison. "Of course not. I've already broken through to the Earth-Sea realm. In the army, I still have the title of commandant. As long as I stay in the army, I could be conferred the title of deputy general at any time." "It's much better than you are now," Wan Lanxin said. "That's true, but you're still a girl and don't have a noble title. How can you protect our Wan clan? Once I resign, our Wan clan's name will definitely be torn down." Wan Tianlong sighed heavily. After a pause, he continued, "You're not young anymore. It's time to consider your life's major events. Listen to your father and stop hanging out with Yang Wu. It won't do you much good." "Father, all the strength I have now was given to me by him. Do you think I can stop hanging out with him?" Wan Lanxin countered with a question. "So what? He's going to go against the imperial edict. Only death awaits him. That Shui Gui is powerful enough. He was once one of the 10 kings. He brought 10 top-notch royal armaments to the emperor. Didn't he still get blasted into a bloody pulp? He's not Shui Gui. He's Yang Wu. Yang Wu returned to the city for 3 days. In these 3 days, the topic of discussion about him only increased. No one could compare to him in the limelight. Yang Wu is really domineering. He's gone against the imperial edict and nothing has happened to him. Where did he get his confidence from? The emperor won't let him go. No one will have a good ending for going against the emperor. 2 days ago, didn't you guys know that Yang Wu booked the Drunken Immortal restaurant? That's the #1 restaurant in our city. Many nobles go there to drink and listen to music. Other than the current emperor, I've never heard of anyone with the courage to book the entire Drunken Immortal restaurant. I heard that Yang Wu is already a medicine king. His master is also from one of the country's great powers. That's why he's so confident. Didn't you guys notice that there are several bloody heads hanging in front of the Yang clan? Those are the people on the Black Hand ranking that the imperial court has put out a bounty for, but they've all been killed. It's clear how confident Yang Wu is. It can't be, right? The people on a Black Hand list are all powerful kings. Is Yang Wu already that powerful? All kinds of rumors flew around. Unknowingly, many youths in the imperial city idolized him and the girls went crazy for him. On that day, Yang Wu's powerful figure that broke into the imperial city was spread to the point that it was as if he was a heavenly general descending to the mortal world. He was majestic and handsome. He was a rare good man in this world. Which girl could resist his charm? On the 4th day after Yang Wu's return, he finally chose to go to the imperial court. As the guardian general and Count Xiaowu, as long as he was in the imperial city, he had to go to the morning court every day to meet the emperor. He had just entered the city 3 days ago, but he didn't meet the emperor. This was already a great disrespect. This time, he was afraid that he would become the target of a crusade. Yang Wu's mother personally helped him tidy up his appearance and put on his armor. His entire face was radiant and handsome. Even his mother couldn't help but gently caress his face and say, "Wooer, you're much more handsome than your father when he was young. I'm afraid there are many girls who like you." Mother, if father heard this, I'm afraid he would be jealous. Yang Wu teased with a smile. He doesn't have the guts. Su Rome chuckled. At this time, Su Rome had become even more beautiful than 2 days ago. She was like a beautiful young woman in her early 20s. Her original aged appearance was completely gone. This was the effect of eating the face-retaining pill. She had regained her youth, and her mood was much better. That's right. Mother is still the one in charge of our family. Yang Wu said flatteringly. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and go to the imperial court. Remember, you must restrain yourself. You can't fall out with the emperor. If you have something to say, then say it. Mother doesn't want to worry about you anymore. Su Rome said. Don't worry, Mother. I will talk nicely to the emperor. Yang Wu replied. Immediately after, he carried his helmet and walked out of the room, preparing to go to the imperial court. At this time, his father Yang Jinan came to him and said, Wooer, father will go with you to the emperor. Yang Jinan had already put on his previous armor and regained some of his dignity as the Jinan general. When Yang Jinan was released, his identity had already been restored. It was only because the matter had not been completely settled that he was not summoned to the palace to meet the emperor. Now that his son was going to the palace, he also wanted to go to war with his son. He wanted to advance and retreat together with his son. Yang Wu was moved and said, Father, you don't need to be like this. That place is not a dragon's lair or a tiger's den. You don't need to be so nervous. Stay at home and accompany Mother. I will be back soon. I promise nothing will happen. After saying this, he did not wait for his father to speak and walked out of the courtyard. He brought along the skinny monkey and Lu Ji, who had been waiting for him for a long time, and went to the imperial palace. This time, the civil and military officials were already waiting for him to enter the palace. They were ready to condemn him. Chapter 3:24. In the Golden Phoenix Hall of the imperial palace, the emperor was already dressed neatly. He had a purple gold crown on his head, a yellow dragon robe, a golden dragon belt on his waist, and a pair of Qilin boots on his feet. He looked mighty and dignified. Hundreds of civil and military officials stood on his left and right. Prime Minister Song Lirui was the head of the civil and military officials, while Luo Gongming was the head of the military. They all bowed to the emperor and shouted, "Long live the emperor." After the ceremony, everyone stood in their positions strictly and did not make a sound. Summon Yang Wu into the hall. The emperor raised his hand gently and said to the eunuch on his right, "Summon Yang Wu into the hall." The eunuch shouted at the top of his lungs toward the outside of the hall. Immediately after, the guards outside the hall shouted the same words again and again until they left the hall. Yang Wu, who had been waiting outside the palace for a long time, strode into the palace. "Big brother, we will wait for you outside." Shouho shouted at Yang Wu. Lu Ji also said, "My lord, we will wait for your safe return." Yang Wu did not look back. He waved his hand at them and walked toward the palace. After he walked in, the door of the palace was slammed shut. Murderous aura filled the air. Yang Wu had repeatedly disobeyed the emperor's orders. How could it be peaceful when he went to the palace this time? Yang Wu's senses were extremely sharp. As soon as he entered the palace, he was surrounded by all sorts of powerful auras. There were at least 20 kings hiding in the palace, but he didn't feel the slightest bit of fear. He still walked into the palace with his head held high. Yang Wu came to the front of the Golden Phoenix Hall. He saw 2 large pillars with dragons and phoenixes on the left and right. They gave off an ancient aura. There were also 9 auspicious beasts lined up in the corridor. They were like living creatures, guarding the hall together with 81 guards. Compared to the barbarian tribe leader's residence, the Great Xia Dynasty's palace was indeed much more luxurious than the barbarian tribe leaders' association. Every brick and tile here was luxurious. After Yang Wu entered the hall, he felt many pairs of eyes looking at him. Every pair of eyes contained different auras, but most of them were filled with the intent to devour people. Yang Wu being disrespectful to the emperor was the same as being disrespectful to the civil and military officials. In their hearts, he was a traitor and deserved to be executed. Yang Wu ignored them. He raised his head and looked at the emperor, cupping his hands and saying, "This subject, Yang Wu, greets the emperor." "How dare you, Yang Wu? Why aren't you kneeling in front of his majesty?" Someone shouted, "Yang Wu is being rude. Why haven't you kneeled yet and begged the emperor for forgiveness?" Another person said, "Traitor Yang Wu, if you don't kneel down now, you will be sentenced to death." These civil and military officials were much more agitated than Yang Wu. As soon as Yang Wu spoke, they began to scold and curse him. The emperor, who was sitting on the dragon throne, also showed dissatisfaction. However, he didn't say anything and just calmly watched the civil and military officials scold Yang Wu. Yang Wu was indifferent. No matter how much the civil and military officials scolded him, he just ignored them and didn't pay them any attention. His attitude infuriated the civil and military officials even more. If they could, their gazes would tear Yang Wu to shreds. After these people were tired of scolding, the emperor finally opened his mouth and asked, "Yang Wu, do you know your crime?" Yang Wu rudely raised his head to look at the emperor and replied with a smile, "Your Majesty, this subject doesn't know my crime. How dare you, little brat? You disobeyed the imperial edict and didn't kneel in front of me. This is the crime of offending your superiors. You dare to not admit your crime?" The emperor shouted furiously. There was a king's aura floating around his body. That aura was enough to make any official tremble in fear. Yang Wu still said, "This subject doesn't know my crime." "Good Yang Wu, do you really think that you can ignore my words just because you made some contributions? Someone come, drag him out, and behead him." The emperor angrily said. The guards outside the hall immediately rushed in and prepared to arrest Yang Wu. Yang Wu faintly said, "Your Majesty, did you not see the peace contract I signed with the barbarian race? What? Do you want to use this contract to threaten me?" The emperor said with a frown. Of course Yang Wu doesn't dare, but there is a clause in the peace contract. I, Yang Wu, will be the peace ambassador for the 2 countries for 10 years. No matter what crime I commit, I won't die. If I die, the contract will become invalid. Your Majesty, don't forget that this is a contract with your dragon seal. Once it is broken, it will harm the country. Yang Wu said with a proud expression. After the emperor heard these words, he was instantly stunned. He had personally read the peace contract between the two countries. There was indeed a clause that mentioned Yang Wu as the peace ambassador. It was added at the request of the barbarian race. He didn't expect that it would become a reason for Yang Wu to counter him. Your Majesty, Yang Wu can be spared from death, but he can't escape punishment. This subject thinks that he is arrogant and despises the emperor's prestige. He should be crippled and locked up in prison for the rest of his life. A civil official stood out and said. This person was the third-rank civil official, Ji Meng. At the same time, he was also one of Song Lirui's most capable students. He was only 41 years old and was expected to become one of the 6 ministers in the next 5 years. He was also known as one of Song Lirui's successors. Right now, Ji Meng was one of the vice ministers of the Ministry of Personnel. There were many officials in the court who had to go through him. Although his authority couldn't be compared to the Ministry of Personnel, he still couldn't be underestimated. By directly speaking to the emperor, he had clearly expressed his position. He was destined to be at odds with Yang Wu. Many times, his opinion represented part of Song Lirui's opinion. After Ji Meng stood out, a few other civil officials also immediately stood out to impeach Yang Wu. Although Yang Wu has made contributions, it's all because he relied on the prestige of the heavens to achieve military merits. This subject thinks that he should be executed on the spot as a warning to others. That's right. Although the peace contract was signed by Yang Wu, he's just a subject of our court. He can't represent the fate of our country. It's not a big deal to execute him. Besides, the barbarian race won't know. I don't think it's good to treat a subject who has made contributions like this. Just imprison him and break his limbs. These civil officials looked refined and cultured, but their bones were filled with ruthless methods and thoughts. Yang Wu turned to look at them with a playful expression. He waited for them to finish speaking before asking, "Have any of you ever been on the battlefield to kill the barbarians? Do you know how many soldiers of the border have shed tears and blood in exchange for this peace? During the First War, if it wasn't for me, Yang Wu, how could we have achieved such a great victory at the border?" The second time the barbarians came to negotiate peace, they had already surrounded more than 100,000 soldiers of our army. Even Heaven Realm experts had appeared. With just one order, our army would have been completely annihilated and no one would have survived. If it wasn't for me, Yang Wu, who had gone deep into the barbarian race and had a good chat with the barbarian race's chief, the barbarian race's army would have already marched into Royal City. You don't know how to speak. The military official on the right understood the sadness in his words. Immediately, another military official agreed, "Your Majesty, the Guardian General is right. The barbarian race is powerful. Although our army isn't afraid of them, if we really fight, there will still be many casualties." This subject thinks that the Guardian General's contributions will make up for his mistakes. Let's forget about it. This subject thinks that it's good to demote General Yang Wu to Deputy General as punishment. Otherwise, the soldiers' hearts will be cold. Another military official said. The civil and military officials had different standpoints, so they treated Yang Wu differently. The people on the left and right started to confront each other. The civil officials advocated for a heavy punishment for Yang Wu, while the military officials advocated for a light punishment for Yang Wu. The main hall was very lively. "Enough, all of you shut up," the emperor scolded in dissatisfaction. After everyone was arranged, he said to Prime Minister Song and Luo Gongming, "Prime Minister Song, General Luo, how do you think we should deal with Yang Wu?" "Kill him." Prime Minister Song only replied with 2 words calmly, but these 2 words were filled with a strong killing intent. Luo Gongming said, "Yang Wu should be rewarded for his military contributions, but he should be punished for his disobedience. His contributions won't make up for his mistakes." His words were equivalent to not saying anything. In fact, he still didn't say whether Yang Wu should be killed or not. The emperor was very depressed. In the past, he would have ordered Yang Wu to be beheaded without hesitation. Yang Wu was too hateful. He actually used the contract to threaten him, making him unable to kill him even if he wanted to. At this time, a voice sounded outside the hall. "Huangshang, Prince Fu is asking for an audience." Usually, In the morning court, Prince Fu does not need to participate. They have no ability to make decisions. But now, Prince Fu suddenly asked for an audience, which was very intriguing. The emperor hesitated for a moment, then said, "Let him in." Soon, Prince Fu came in and kneeled down, then shouted, "Long live. Imperial younger brother, get up. I wonder why you want to see me this time?" The emperor asked. In fact, he already knew that it must be related to Yongwu. This imperial younger brother, I beg the emperor to forgive Yongwu, Prince Fu said while kneeling on the ground. Prince Fu's words instantly shocked all the people present. Who doesn't know why the Yang family was raided? It was because of Prince Fu. At that time, he was the one who killed the Yang family first. Even the emperor didn't receive the news until the Yang family was raided. If he got the news one step later, he is afraid that the Yang family will be wiped out. But now, Prince Fu came to ask to let go of Yongwu, which was simply puzzling. Yongwu also narrowed his eyes. His eyes flashed with a sneer. He couldn't understand why Prince Fu wanted to do this. He didn't speak for the time being. Let's see what the other party wants to do first. Imperial younger brother, why do you say that? The emperor asked in surprise. Yongwu is a meritorious minister. If he is executed, it will inevitably cause dissatisfaction among the officials and common people. Even if he disobeys the imperial decree in public, he is still young and impulsive. Not to mention, the emperor has already ordered him to be the emperor's son-in-law. You are also his father-in-law. In the future, we will be a family. How can a family kill another family? What do you think? Prince Fu said in a reasonable manner. This time, the civil and military officials remembered that the emperor had indeed issued an imperial decree to marry Princess Tang Xiaoan to Yongwu. Prince Fu mentioned it in public, which undoubtedly pushed Yongwu to the edge of the storm. If Yongwu agreed, then they would be a family, and the past would be written off. If Yongwu did not agree, then there would be nothing left to say, and he would be executed on the spot. It has to be said that Prince Fu's proposal really hit the nail on the head. Yongwu, are you willing to marry my beloved daughter and become the emperor's son-in-law? The emperor looked at Yongwu and asked. Chapter 3:25. The emperor's voice was so loud that even the sound of a needle falling could be heard. The eyes of the civil and military officials once again focused on Yongwu. They all want to see if Yongwu still has the courage to resist the imperial decree in public. Yongwu was not stupid. On the contrary, he was very smart. Otherwise, how could he think of going to the barbarians alone to negotiate with them? He already felt the other party's method of retreat in order to advance from Prince Fu's words. Once he accepts the position of Prince Fu and son-in-law, the grudges between him and Prince Fu will be written off. There will no longer be any connection between them. If he doesn't agree, his blood will be spilled on the spot. However, how could such a small trick be enough to make him submit? This time, Yongwu has already prepared various means to deal with it. He did not hesitate to reply. Yongwu is not willing. Just as he finished speaking, the emperor had already ordered, "Drag this thief away and behead him." In an instant, a powerful aura filled the hall. This was not the aura of an ordinary king, but that of a true master of the celestial fish realm. It came from the old eunuch who had killed Shui Gui before. At this moment, Yongwu loudly said, "Huangshang, please wait. Yongwu still has something to say. No matter what you say, you can't defend yourself." The emperor coldly said. Just when the old eunuch was about to make a move, a cold aura immediately locked his body, making him tremble all over. Which expert dares to break into my Xia imperial palace? The cold aura was obviously stronger than the old eunuch. Not only the old eunuch felt it, but even the civil and military officials in the hall felt it. Their bodies tightened, and their faces showed a look of horror. This was the imperial palace of the Xia imperial palace. There were many experts hiding in the dark. Even the old eunuch and the others didn't notice the existence of the other party. It could be seen how terrifying the strength of the other party was. The emperor on the dragon throne looked pale. His strength was not weak. He was already a high-level king. But in the face of this cold aura, he couldn't even put up the slightest resistance. This was a heavenly realm powerhouse. I already said not to use force. This time, I came to reason with the emperor. Yang Wu faintly said. Yang Wu's words undoubtedly proved that this hidden super expert belonged to him. All of the civil and military officials were stunned, and Minister Song shouted, Yang Wu, you really are trying to rebel. Luo Gongming also said, Yang Wu, your family has been loyal for generations. Don't do anything stupid. Who would have thought that Yang Wu would bring a Heaven Realm expert with him? If the other party went all out and killed the current emperor, it would be very troublesome. You're thinking too much. If I were to rebel, why would I be standing here to reason with His Majesty? It's true that I disobeyed the decree, but I will compensate His Majesty in other ways. Yang Wu said calmly. Then he said, Bing Xue, withdraw your power. Don't scare the emperor and the other officials. Let's continue to talk. The cold air disappeared in an instant, and the old eunuch breathed a sigh of relief. If he made a move just now, the other party will definitely kill him. After all, the other party's cultivation was above him. Only then did the emperor and the civil and military officials feel a lot warmer. The way they looked at Yang Wu had become completely different. Yang Wu, what do you want to do? The emperor glared at Yang Wu and asked. Since he ascended the throne, this was the first time he looked so ugly. I don't want to do anything. I just want to ask. My Yang family, as the old general said, has been loyal for generations. But why did it end up like this? Yang Wu asked. The emperor haven't answered, but Prince Fu hurriedly said from the side, Your Yang family's matter was done by Ben Wang. Every debt has its debtor. You mustn't question the emperor. Oh, then let me ask Wang Ye, how did my Yang family offend you? Why are you doing this to my Yang family? Yang Wu asked. Prince Fu was speechless for a while, but then he sighed and said, The past is the past. Let's not mention it again. Ben Wang can compensate your Yang family. Wang Ye, what you said is really nice. You came to my house to propose marriage, but I didn't agree to marry the princess. So, you hold a grudge and slandered me for being a rapist. My Yang family's property was confiscated and my parents were sent to prison. My younger brother, who was the top scholar in the imperial examination, resigned from his position and was sent to prison. You think you can easily cover up this matter with just a few words? Yang Wu glared at Prince Fu. At the same time, he released a powerful aura, accompanied by a thick death aura, which instantly affected the entire hall. This time, everyone felt the fear of death. Everyone's expression became sluggish and panicked. They didn't have the slightest calmness. Compared to the cold aura from before, it was no less. Especially Prince Fu when he faced Yang Wu's death aura, he collapsed on the ground. His face showed an incomparable pain, as if he was in front of the gates of hell. He kept struggling and screaming. He didn't have the slightest demeanor of a prince. As for the emperor, he was under the protection of the old lady, so the power he suffered was much weaker. However, he could feel that Yang Wu had become really terrible. No wonder he could make a great contribution at the border. Yang Wu didn't have the intention to kill Prince Fu. He withdrew his death aura and faintly said, This is just a small punishment. I still need to clear the account between me and your daughter. If you let the Black Hand List people come to kill me again, I don't mind hanging a few more heads in front of my Yang family. The Black Hand List people were not sent by me. Prince Fu refuted. Oh, then they were sent by Song Xiang? Yang Wu looked at Song Lirue and said, When he was framed, it was not only the princess's idea, but also Song Lirue's youngest son. He clearly remembered this account. If you think so, then so be it. Song Lirue proudly said. Very well, this account will be on your head, Prime Minister Song. Yang Wu agreed. Yang Wu, this is my world, this is my imperial palace. How long do you want to be arrogant? The emperor couldn't help but roar. At the same time, a dragon chi rose from his body. The emperor's prestige was unquestionable. Huangshang, please calm your anger. I have something to give you. Yang Wu said. Then a jade bottle appeared in his hand and presented it to the emperor. No one knew what kind of trick Yang Wu was going to play, so they were all confused. What is this? The emperor asked. This is a king-level pill refined by Yang Wu. It can help the emperor regain his youthfulness for 10 years. This is Yang Wu's self-atonement for disobeying the imperial decree. Yang Wu said in a deep voice, Yang Wu, don't mess around. Even if there is a heavenly realm expert here, you may not be able to win. Luo Gongming was afraid that Yang Wu was offering a poison, so he loudly said to Yang Wu, Old General, you think too much. This is really a pill. I want to wish the Emperor's youthfulness forever. Yang Wu emphasized. After a pause, he patted his forehead and said, Don't you all know that I am a medicine king? I thought you all have already received the news. At this moment, everyone was stunned. They looked at Yang Wu's excessively young face and had indeed forgotten the fact that he was a medicine king. This point was already confirmed by the border generals. Chao Jianda, who had been silent all this time, stood up and said, Huangshang, I can testify that Yang Wu is indeed a medicine king. He refined the Earth King pill in front of all the soldiers and attracted the pill lightning. Chao Jianda had already followed Fun Tianxiong back to the empire. The war at the border had already stopped, so they all came back to receive their rewards or be punished. Fun Tianxiong and all the generals were humiliated by the barbarians. If it wasn't for their previous contributions, they would have all been beheaded. This was too shameful for the empire. In the end, all the generals were demoted. Only Chao Jianda was not demoted because he firmly believed that Yang Wu did not betray the empire. Moreover, he had a brother who was killed when he tried to stop Shui Gui. This could be considered a great contribution to the Chao family. Chao Jianda was also promoted by half a rank. Ever since Yang Wu came to the palace, he stayed with the military officials and did not speak much. Only at the crucial moment did he stand up to speak for Yang Wu. What if he gave the emperor a poison pill? Song Xiang said, The pill can be tested. Chao Jianda replied, Forget it. Since the emperor does not dare to accept this face-preserving pill, then I will keep it for myself. Yang Wu did not force the emperor to accept it and put away the pill himself. Wait. The emperor opened his mouth and shouted. He then said, Bring the pill over. The face-preserving pill. Which middle-aged person did not want it? It did not matter if they were male or female. Everyone wanted to maintain their youthful appearance in order to live a more comfortable life. Who would want to look old and clumsy? The emperor was also a person. He also desired to regain his youth. Although the face-preserving pill's effect was not that great, it would allow him to maintain his appearance for 10 years and even make him look younger. How could he not want it? Emperor, you must not. A minister immediately said, This child has bad intentions. Don't. Another civil official said, Medicine priest, come out and test the pill. The emperor did not pay attention to the crowd and loudly shouted. Thus, an unremarkable old man walked out. He was the current medicine priest of the imperial court. He was in charge of the imperial court's medicine warehouse. At the same time, he was a true medicine king with an extraordinary position. This official is here. After the medicine priest responded, he walked over and took the face-preserving pill from Yang Wu's hands. Yang Wu looked at the medicine priest, and his nose smelled a strong medicinal scent. It could be seen that the other party was a master-level figure who had been soaking in medicinal herbs for a long time. Yang Wu slightly bowed to the medicine priest to show his respect. General Yang Wu, this old man does not deserve it. After the medicine priest calmly accepted Yang Wu's bow, he took the face-preserving pill. He took out the pill and began to appraise the medicine. When he saw that the medicine was incomparably glossy and had a strong medicinal scent, he was filled with admiration. It was as if he was admiring a work of art. He slowly examined it and used his finger to touch the pill. He then put it in his mouth and licked it to distinguish whether the medicine was real or fake. Everyone held their breaths as they watched the medicine priest distinguish it. They were also curious whether the face-preserving pill was real or not. They had heard of this kind of pill before, but it was hard to find even with 10,000 gold. Even a medicine king's hall did not have the pill recipe and could not refine it. Only the transcendental realm had the pill recipe. Chapter 326. Reporting to the emperor, this medicine is the same as the face-preserving pill in the records. It should be the real thing. After the medicine priest finished examining it, he reported to the emperor, "No way, is this really the face-preserving pill?" Someone couldn't help but exclaim. The king-level face-preserving pill can preserve one's appearance for 10 years. It also has the effect of beautifying. If the emperor obtains this pill, his youth will be eternal. Someone immediately flattered. Then will the effect really be that great? Someone expressed their doubts. The emperor didn't pay attention to them. He revealed an anxious expression and said, "Quickly bring this pill over." Thus, a eunuch went down to bring the face-preserving pill to the emperor. Yang Wu took the opportunity to say, "The emperor can take it now. There will be a very obvious effect." No, this pill may have already been tampered with by him. If the emperor takes it, Ji Ming opened his mouth again, but before he could finish, the medicine priest said with dissatisfaction, "Does Ji Darren doubt this priest's ability to test medicine?" No, this official does not dare, just in case." Ji Ming hurriedly responded. The medicine priest's position in the court was extraordinary. Like Xiao Sanyi, he was a marquis. He was also a dignified medicine king. Many pills in the court passed through his hands, so no one wanted to offend him. Humph, this priest has stayed in the medicine warehouse for 60 years and refined pills for 50 years. If I can't even distinguish the authenticity of a single pill, then I don't want to be a medicine priest." The medicine priest coldly snorted. Ji Ming instantly did not dare to speak. This kind of person, even his teacher had to respect him. After the emperor took the pill, he smelled it and looked at the medicine priest. "Can it really be eaten?" The medicine priest bowed and said, "How could this official dare to deceive the emperor? If this pill is strange, this official is willing to guarantee with my head." Yang Wu said from the side, "If the emperor is afraid, you can let someone eat it first. If they die, then it won't be too late to deal with Yang Wu." After pausing for a moment, he added, "But there is only one face-preserving pill for the time being. If others take it, there may not be any left." After the emperor heard Yang Wu's words, he quickly threw the pill into his mouth. The emperor was already 50 years old. Although he had a technique to preserve his appearance, he still couldn't withstand the ravages of time. There were already traces of wrinkles on his face. Usually, he had to work hard on many state affairs, and his body was deteriorating day by day. Even if he had the strength of a high-level King Realm expert, he couldn't withstand the torment. This face-retaining pill just happened to solve his urgent problem. If the medicinal pill was effective, he could return to his 30-year-old appearance. Those young concubines of his would definitely be mesmerized by him. At that time, it would be even better if he took in a few more concubines. Everyone watched as the emperor swallowed the face-preserving Dan on the spot. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. They wanted to see if this face-preserving Dan was really effective. Of course, there were also others who hoped that this was a poisoned Dan. It would be better if the emperor was poisoned to death. Yang Wu didn't care at all. He had confidence in his own medicinal pill. This was to give the other party a little sweetness. After tasting it, they would know how powerful he was. At that time, it wouldn't be him begging the other party, but the other party would be the one begging him. Sure enough, this face-preserving Dan was worthy of being called a medicinal pill that could preserve one's appearance. After the emperor refined the medicinal power, it was as if a vitality was injected into his body. It began to change the muscles of his body. His face was emitting a luster, the wrinkles were disappearing, and his skin became more elastic. His entire person seemed to be glowing with a new brilliance, and he suddenly became a lot younger. Comfortable. The emperor, who had his eyes closed, couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief and praise. His appearance of enjoyment was as refreshing as if he was swallowing an immortal medicine. Congratulations to the emperor for remaining young forever. Long live the emperor. Yang Wu took the opportunity to kneel down on one knee and said, for a long time, Yang Wu had been very arrogant. He didn't put the emperor in his eyes at all. Now that he was so respectful, it had to be said that the timing was really good. The civil and military officials all cast him a look of disdain, but they had no choice but to shout, "Congratulations to the emperor for remaining young forever. Long live the emperor." The emperor opened his eyes and said with a smile, "Huh, my beloved subjects, please rise." As a ruler, he had already felt the extraordinariness of this medicinal pill. He was also clear about the changes in his body. His mood was not ordinary. After the civil and military officials stood up, the emperor muttered to himself and said, "Yang Wu, you have made a great contribution at the border, but you have also repeatedly disobeyed the imperial edict. Your merits offset your faults. Since you have contributed to the face-preserving Dan, I will pardon you and confer you the title of honorary medicine priest." What do you think? Honorary medicine priest, this was a title in name only. Just like the current medicine king Pavilion's pavilion master, he also belonged to the honorary medicine priest. But the other party didn't need to participate in the imperial court and was independent of the imperial court. This title was just a reward for Yang Wu. This was also the emperor giving himself a way out. It was up to Yang Wu whether or not he would appreciate it. "Thank you for your kindness, your majesty." Yang Wu readily agreed. "Good, very good. Zhen will not interfere with the matter between you and Princess Xiaohan. She is a national beauty. If you miss out on her, it will be your loss." The emperor said in a very happy mood. Then he said, "Okay, Yang Wu, come forward and listen to your conferment. You have made a great contribution at the border. You will be conferred the title of Guardian General, Xiaowu Count, Ambassador of Peace, Yellow Magua, 10,000 taels of gold, and a set of king's armor." These were the rewards that the emperor had conferred to Yang Wu. They were the rewards that he deserved for repelling the barbarians and rescuing dozens of high-ranking military officers and 150,000 soldiers. The reward for signing the peace contract was gone. It was equivalent to making up for his crime of disobeying the emperor's decree. It could be said that the emperor has been magnanimous enough to tolerate Yang Wu's rude behavior. His decision to do so was also based on careful consideration, and not because of Yang Wu's single ageless pill. First of all, Yang Wu has a powerful master behind him. He also heard that he has a mysterious master who may be a supernatural figure. In addition, he is a young medicine king. All of these were destined to not easily touch him. Another reason was that Yang Wu has a grudge with Prince Fu and Prime Minister Song. These two people have a feeling that the emperor can no longer suppress them. Yang Wu happened to be their enemy. So, the one who should have the most headache is not the emperor, but the two of them. Pardoning Yang Wu was the result of weighing the pros and cons. It has to be said that the emperor's skill is not something that ordinary people can play with. The emperor had already decided on Yang Wu's identity, and none of the civil and military officials dared to stand up against him. Yang Wu also didn't cause any more trouble, and happily accepted all of this. For him, these things are just a formality. He doesn't care at all. His future is not limited to this Daxia dynasty. The farce of the morning court came to an end. Yang Wu could be considered to have passed this stage without any mishap. At the end of the court, Prince Fu apologized to Yang Wu. "Xiaowu Earl, Jiayan is not sensible. Just let bygones be bygones. If you have any conditions, as long as Ben Wang can do it, Ben Wang will not say a word of no." It can be seen that Prince Fu is really willing to put down his pride and ask for peace. Otherwise, with his identity as a prince, he will not apologize to a count. Yang Wu stretched his waist and lightly said, "I am not short of anything now, Wang Ye. So, there's nothing to talk about?" Prince Fu frowned. "There's nothing to talk about. You are a dignified prince. If you want to plagiarize my Yang family, then plagiarize it. What else can I say? But next time, if you want to plagiarize again, it will not be so easy," Yang Wu said with a smile. He was doomed to not reconcile with Prince Fu and Song Xiang. The account must be slowly settled. He suffered a lot, his parents suffered a lot, and his younger brother suffered a lot. Someone must pay the price. Well, I will see what you can do." After Prince Fu said a few words, he waved his sleeves and left. Yang Wu smiled and declined to comment. He still has not figured out how to deal with the two families. At present, he just wanted to give them some pressure. But after he thought about it, he will definitely give them a thunderous blow. Even a royal family cannot stop him. Just when Yang Wu was about to leave, a little eunuch hurriedly rushed over and shouted, "Earl Xiaowu, please wait. The emperor wants to see you." The little eunuch's voice was not small, so the civil and military officials who were leaving heard it. They couldn't help but look back at Yang Wu with a complicated look. They were sure that Yang Wu was destined to rise quickly. Yang Wu hesitated for a moment, but he still followed the little eunuch to the back of the palace. Soon, he saw the emperor again in the Yangshin Palace Hall. The emperor has taken off his dragon robe and revealed his simple clothes. The emperor was in high spirits and looked a lot younger. He looked like he was in his 30s, still in his prime. "This subject greets your majesty." Yang Wu saluted and greeted. He found that there was a graceful woman beside the emperor, who was the empress. So he quickly added, "This subject greets the empress." "So, you're Yang Wu. You really look talented." The empress looked at Yang Wu and said. The empress had the demeanor of a mother under heaven, but unfortunately, she was no longer young. She looked a bit old, and when she stood next to the emperor, they clearly did not match. "Thank you, empress, for your praise," Yang Wu replied honestly. "Yang Wu, sit down and talk." The emperor opened his mouth and said. Yang Wu was not polite and directly sat down. Then he asked, what did the emperor call this subject over for? It had to be said that Yang Wu really did not put the emperor in his eyes. Speaking like this was impudent. The emperor did not argue with Yang Wu. He opened his mouth and said, "Do you really only have one face-preserving pill?" Yang Wu nodded his head and said, "I really only have one." This time, the empress anxiously said, "Yang Wu, you have to be honest. As long as you take out another face-preserving pill, I will have the emperor agree to any request you have. Any reasonable request." The emperor hurriedly added a sentence. It was true that he was the emperor, but he couldn't do everything to Yang Wu. "Emperor, can the medicine priest not refine the face-preserving pill?" Yang Wu asked. When the emperor heard this, he secretly cursed in his heart. Isn't this asking the obvious? Chapter 3:27. Yang Wu was indeed asking the obvious. In Little Hei's eyes, the face-preserving pill was a low-level pill, but this kind of pill recipe was almost non-existent in the mortal world. Even in the transcendent realm, it was basically hidden away. Its value was not necessarily inferior to the Earth King pill. In the eyes of women, its value was even higher than the Earth King pill. All women loved beauty, and the Empress was no exception. When she saw the Emperor suddenly become younger, how could she not panic? After asking, she found out about the face-preserving pill and immediately sent someone to call Yang Wu over. Yang Wu, although the medicine priest is the medicine king, he does not have the pill recipe for the face-preserving pill. How about you contribute the recipe and let him refine it for this Empress? The Empress said somewhat ignorantly. Just as she finished speaking, the Emperor said, "Every pill recipe is a secret of the alchemist. How can it be passed down just because you say so? How about you let Yang Wu refine it for you?" This Empress believes that Yang Wu has the ability. Yang Wu smiled and said, Empress, you still want the face-preserving pill, right? This is a king-level pill. I just need to use a bit of effort to refine it. The main thing is that I don't have the ingredients. How difficult is this? You're the glory medicine priest, so you can directly go to the medicine storehouse and choose the ingredients. The Emperor said, "I'm afraid the medicine priest has an opinion." Yang Wu said with a difficult expression, "If he has an opinion, let him come find Jin." The Emperor said domineeringly. The Empress anxiously said from the side, "Yes, if you need any ingredients, the medicine storehouse has them. Go ahead and take them. I only want the pills. Since it's like this, then this subject will accept the order. As long as I find the ingredients, I will do my best to refine the face-preserving pill for the Empress." Yang Wu replied, Good, you're a good child. Everyone says you are hateful and abominable, but this Empress sees it as a false rumor, maliciously slandering you." The Empress spoke up for Yang Wu. The Empress is wise. Yang Wu was indeed harmed by a scoundrel, but that is already in the past. Yang Wu said respectfully, It's all in the past. You must look forward and properly assist the Emperor in the future. There will be benefits for you." The Empress replied. After pausing for a moment, she said, "You should immediately go to the medicine storehouse and give the face-preserving pill to this empress as soon as possible. This empress will reward. Yes, empress. Yang Wu responded and left the hall. In the imperial palace's forest garden, there was a guard at every step. Every step was a different scenery. Yang Wu was not in the mood to appreciate it. He followed the young eunuch and prepared to leave. At this time, a palace maid hurriedly walked over and stopped the little eunuch. She then whispered into the little eunuch's ear, "Little Geezy, the princess wants to see the prince consort. You can leave now. Let me bring him to see the princess." "I don't dare," the eunuch hurriedly replied. "Then you should quickly go back. I will lead the way for the prince consort," the palace maid said, and then walked over to Yang Wu. She bowed to Yang Wu and said, "This servant will lead the way for Darren." The words she said in a low voice could be hidden from normal people, but could not be hidden from Yang Wu. He had already heard every word she said. Yang Wu hesitated for a moment, but he still nodded and followed her. Soon, Yang Wu arrived at another courtyard. This courtyard was not far from the Yangxin Palace Hall. The Yangxin Palace Hall was filled with a noble aura, while the courtyard in front of him was much more elegant. There were all kinds of fresh flowers planted, and there was even a stream of clear spring water. There were even some young spirit rabbits jumping between the flowers. Between the flowers and plants, a girl dressed as a man was walking back and forth with a white paper fan in her hand. She appeared to be somewhat flustered. When she saw the palace maid bring Yang Wu over, her expression clearly changed. She lowered her head with a red face and bit her jade lips. Gathering her courage, she raised her head and stood where she was, waiting for Yang Wu to come over. Yang Wu pretended to be in a daze and said, "Where is this? It doesn't seem to be the way out." "Our prince wants to see you," the palace maid replied with a bit of a guilty conscience. "Oh, I wonder which prince it is," Yang Wu asked. "Is this prince?" Tang Xiaoan came up and said. The redness on her face had not receded, but instead became more obvious. There was still some uncertainty in her eyes. Looking at Yang Wu at such a close distance, her heart was pounding. Yang Wu cupped his hands towards Tang Xiaoan and said, "Yang Wu greets this prince." Tang Xiaohan pretended to be calm and said, "No need to be so polite. I wonder why the prince wants to see Yang Wu?" Yang Wu asked. Tang Xiaohan coughed lightly and said, "This prince has long heard of General Yang's deeds at the border and specially invited you to come and chat. Seeing you today, you really are extraordinary, making this prince admire you." Yang Wu said with a smile, "The prince must be joking. Yang Wu is only a reckless martial artist. How can I be extraordinary?" In Yang Wu's opinion, the prince is the one who is truly young and talented, a dragon among men. General Yang is too modest. This prince has been paying attention to the war at the border for a long time. I wonder if General Yang can tell me how you managed to make the barbarian army choose to negotiate peace? Tang Xiaoan had already thought of a topic to ask. She took the initiative to approach Yang Wu because she wanted to understand Yang Wu's character. She also wanted to understand where Yang Wu's confidence came from to actually reject the marriage ordered by the emperor. This made her want to get closer to Yang Wu. What kind of man was this? "Prince, the war at the border is hard to say," Yang Wu said with a troubled expression. Then he said, "It's getting late. I really shouldn't stay in the palace for too long. Could it be that General Yang is looking down on this prince?" Tang Xiaohan pretended to be dissatisfied. "All right, then I'll talk about it. I said a lot in the morning court today, and my throat is so dry that I can't stand it anymore." Yang Wu reluctantly replied. "Little Red, quickly bring the tea," Tang Xiaohan ordered. "It's already noon. My stomach is about to be flat from hunger. Little Red, bring some snacks to entertain General Yang. There doesn't even seem to be a seat in this place. General Yang, please follow this prince. This prince will come over here to talk." Yang Wu looked at the princess who knew how to act. He couldn't help but think, this princess is quite cute. Even if the princess was dressed as a man, Yang Wu could still see that she was beautiful and refined. She really didn't disgrace her princess title. Unfortunately, he didn't have too many complicated thoughts. The other party wanted to test him, so he would just tease the other party. Yang Wu followed Tang Xiaohan to the pavilion. There was a guqin on the table, and there were some fresh flowers on the table. It looked like they had just been picked not long ago. Yang Wu asked, "So the prince is an elegant person who appreciates flowers?" Tang Xiaohan's face turned red again. She hurriedly brushed away the flowers, revealing an embarrassed expression as she said, "I was only playing the zither. These flowers must have been thrown by the palace maids. I will definitely punish them later." A man loving flowers, this was a very strange phenomenon. It made her feel even more guilty. "Oh, so it's like this. I saw that there were so many fresh flowers in this courtyard. I thought the prince was a person who cherished flowers." Yang Wu said with a soft sigh. Could it be that General Yang also cherishes flowers? Tang Xiaoan asked back. Yes, looking at such beautiful flowers, anyone would feel better, especially people like us who often go through life and death situations. We cherish the brilliance and beauty in front of us more, because we don't know when our lives will wither like the flowers. As Yang Wu spoke, he remembered when he had first become a prison slave soldier and the situation when he fought against the barbarians. There really was the possibility of losing his life at any time. The other soldiers also died at the drop of a hat. There really was no mercy to speak of. His appearance was slightly calm, and there was a hint of maturity in his sharp edges. It really made Tang Xiaohan, who was on the side, mesmerized. On the day Yang Wu returned to Wang City, she saw Yang Wu. He kowtowed to his parent from 100 feet away and had already become a story of a filial son in Wang City. At the time, she had a very high opinion of him. Now, looking at his unaffected appearance, she was completely mesmerized. Yang Wu came back to his senses and looked at Tang Xiaohan, who was staring at him blankly. He said, "Prince, is there a flower on my face?" Tang Xiaohan quickly turned her face away. No, I just didn't think that the border would be so dangerous." General Yang was able to achieve such a great military achievement. It really is inconceivable. Of course it wasn't easy. I experienced a situation of near death and was lucky enough to come back alive. Yang Wu replied. At this time, a few palace maids came in one after another with tea and snacks. They quickly retreated. Tang Xiaoan told Yang Wu to drink water and eat snacks first, and then listen to him talk about the border. Yang Wu did not hold back and quickly threw the crystal-like snacks into his mouth. After a while, he finished them all and said with dissatisfaction, "Your Highness, can you give me a few more of these snacks? I am a rough person who came back from the border. I don't have any other skills, but I eat a lot." He purposely showed this kind of image to make the princess in front of him give up on the idea of testing him, who knew that Tang Xiaohan did not think this in her heart. She felt that Yang Wu's rough appearance was very unique and praised in her heart. This is a real man. Tang Xiaohan asked the palace maids to serve another 10 servings of desserts. Yang Wu, on the other hand, was eating while talking about the matters at the border. He did not talk about anything serious. Most of what he said was made up, except for the war itself, which was true. The rest were just embellishments. He described how mighty and extraordinary he was, how domineering he was, how he led his troops to kill the barbarian race, and how he killed them 7 times. In the end, the barbarian race submitted to him and was willing to propose a peace treaty. This kind of nonsense, no matter who heard it, could tell that it was just boasting. However, Tang Xiaoan was as pure as boiled water. She did not come in contact with the complicated world and completely believed it. She felt that Yang Wu definitely had this kind of ability. Otherwise, how could he achieve this kind of merit at such a young age? Thus, her gaze towards Yang Wu became even brighter. Yang Wu already felt that something was wrong. He felt that the princess in front of him did not seem to dislike him. He boldly touched the princess's hand that was on the table, causing the princess to scream in fright and pull her hand back. "What are you doing?" Tang Xiaoan shrunk back and asked. "Your Royal Highness, you're so handsome that I can't help but like you. I hope you don't mind." Yang Wu looked at Tang Xiaoan affectionately as he spoke. Tang Xiaoan was so scared that her face turned pale and her hair stood on end. Chapter 328. Yang Wu left Tang Xiaohan's flower courtyard in a relaxed manner. Along the way, He hummed a little tune and was in an extremely good mood. Thinking about how he had teased Tang Xiaohan to the point of crying, he felt a sense of accomplishment in his heart. He secretly laughed. This time, that girl won't have any ideas about this duke anymore. Suddenly, he slapped his forehead and cried out, "Oh no, if that girl spreads what happened just now, wouldn't this duke's reputation be ruined?" Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret. He had already done it. He only hoped that Tang Xiaoan would keep her mouth shut and not spread rumors that he was a glass man. Yang Wu shook off these small worries and directly headed in the direction of the medicine hall. He was going to plunder some herbs and see if there were any heaven medicine he wanted. He still needed to refine the heaven reversal pill for his father and still lacked a few main ingredients. Among them, the heaven medicine was even harder to find. He hoped that the medicine hall had it. The main reason he offered the pill to the emperor was to enter the medicine hall. All of this was part of his plan. Otherwise, it would not be easy for him to find those heaven medicine by himself. After Yang Wu left, Tang Xiaoan, who was in the courtyard, suddenly cried out, "Damn it, I was tricked by him. Princess, what's wrong with you?" Tang Xiaoan's personal palace maid, Little Red, asked. "I was tricked by Yang Wu." Tang Xiaohan clenched her fists and gritted her teeth, revealing an extremely cute appearance. "He's so bold. He actually dares to lie to the princess," Little Red said angrily. After pausing for a moment, she asked in a low voice, "What did he lie to the princess about?" "He lied to me. He lied to me that he likes men," Tang Xiaohan said with a shy expression. "Maybe he really likes men. Princess, I think you should forget about it," Little Red advised. Little Red had a good impression of Yang Wu, but she also saw Yang Wu secretly touching the princess's hand. She also saw Yang Wu drooling at the princess, which made her feel disgusted. If the princess showed her real face, she would not care, but the princess was disguised as a man, which also proved that Yang Wu liked men. Who could accept such a man? Tang Xiaohan said, "That's why I said he lied to me. He doesn't like men at all. He has already seen through my identity as a woman." "That can't be. Princess, you're dressed like a man. How could he tell?" Little Red was puzzled. "Do you still remember the day he came back? There was a beautiful woman on the turtle demon he was sitting on. This proves that he likes women. Maybe he likes both men and women." "No, he didn't ask me which prince I was from the moment he came in. Moreover, my garden is filled with fresh flowers. You should have guessed that I'm a girl long ago. I was even scared by him. This guy is really hateful." "That seems to be the case. Then what should the princess do? Should we capture him?" "Forget it. There will be plenty of time in the future. I must let him know how powerful this princess is." Fuan Imperial Mansion. After Prince Fuan came back, his face has been black. Today, he put down his face and went to resolve the grievances between Yang Wu and them. However, Yang Wu didn't appreciate it. It's really hateful. After thinking for a while, Prince Fu and went to a secret room and quickly went underground. This secret room was a private forbidden area under his mansion. No one knows about its existence. When he walked in, a burst of stench came out. The strong smell of blood made people feel disgusted. He kept walking inside and found a lot of human limbs and blood. It was like a slaughterhouse, which was quite terrifying. At the same time, an extremely strong death aura came out, accompanied by a beast-like roar. Roar, die, kill. Inside the room, a person was locked in an iron cage made of top-grade royal materials. The iron cage was enchanted with an array, locking the person inside. The person was exuding a death aura. His hair was messy and stained with blood. His hands and feet were locked with black iron. There were a lot of broken limbs and blood in the cage, which was so shocking. Wang Ya. Two people came out from the dark and greeted Prince Fuan. Both of them were wearing ferocious masks and cloaks. The aura of kings was faintly discernible around them. Prince Fuan looked at the person in the cage and said to the two people beside him, "I wanted to go out and kill a person." "Wang Ya, who do you want to kill?" the person on the right asked. Prince Fuan said, "Can he be controlled? There should be no problem for half a day." The person on the left said, "The other side has a heavenly realm powerhouse." Prince Fuan said with a frown, "He can even kill a heavenly realm powerhouse. Wang Ya knows this better than the two of us." "Well, You take good care of him for the next few days. I must kill that kid. Song family mansion. After Song Xiang came back, his face showed a trace of tiredness. He lay on the armchair and let the maidservant massage his shoulders. After a while, Song Yuming came over and waved the maidservant away. He massaged his father like a good son. After a long time, Song Yuming finally couldn't help but ask, "Father, what happened in the morning court today? You really can't keep calm." Song Xiang squinted his eyes and said, after a pause, he added, "That kid has risen. His momentum is irresistible. Even the emperor has no way to deal with him." How is this possible? Song Yuming said in disbelief. Nothing is impossible. He has a heavenly realm powerhouse behind him. He got a great opportunity. Song Xiang said with a sigh. What should I do? He will definitely retaliate against me. Song Yuming said in a panic. Look at your virtue. You just encountered something, and you're already so flustered. How can you inherit your father's mantle in the future? Song Xiang said with disappointment. Then he added, immediately send a message to your brother and sister. Tell them to come back as soon as possible. Great. As long as brother and sister come back, even if that little bastard has great ability, he will have to obediently lie down and wait for death. Song Yuming said in surprise. Don't think so highly of yourself. It has only been a short year since he was abolished and rose to become a king. He won't be defeated so easily. As long as he knows how powerful our family is, he will know when to stop. Maybe there will be a chance to shake hands and make peace. Father, he and I are mortal enemies. How can we shake hands and make peace? You have to remember that there are no eternal friends and no eternal enemies. There are only eternal interests. Chao Mansion. This was the home of Lieutenant General Chao Jianda. Their Chao family's old man was also a marquis. The Chao family was one of the nobles in the imperial city. Old Master Chao was still alive. Even though he had already retired, his influence was still extraordinary. He was a person who had followed the previous emperor and made illustrious military achievements. Chao Jianda returned home from the morning assembly with a big smile on his face. When Madame Chao saw her husband smiling so happily, she couldn't help but ask, Master, did something good happen during the morning assembly? I can't hide it from you. Chao Jianda replied with a smile. It's written all over your face. Can I see it? Madame Chao said. I did encounter some happy things. Chao, Jianda replied. However, he didn't want to dwell on this matter. Instead, he changed the topic and asked, Didn't Fanny say that she would be coming back soon? Where is she? Maybe in 2 days. The time for Amei's outer sect disciple recruitment has been confirmed. Before she participates in the test, she will definitely come back. Madame Chao replied. Yes, she must come back. I have to find her a good son-in-law. Chao Jianda said. Master, didn't you always think that Fanny should find a young king to be her son-in-law in the transcendent world? Why do you want to find her a partner now? The child I'm looking for is a young king. He's many times better than our disappointing son. Which family's child is it that you like him so much? Yang Wu of the Yang family. To the east of the imperial city, there was an independent faction called the Medicine King Pavilion. The Medicine King Pavilion was a faction outside of the imperial city's control. However, it was still within the imperial city's territory. Furthermore, it sucked all of the imperial city's resources. Because of their extraordinary status, the imperial city had to treat them with respect. There was a majestic hall called the Medicine King Pavilion. With it, as the center, a city within a city was built. The people who lived here were all alchemists. The Medicine King Pavilion's old pavilion master, Yao Yanhai, was publicly recognized as the #1 alchemist in the imperial city. It was rumored that he was once a member of a transcendent faction. Later on, for some unknown reason, he returned to his hometown and established the Medicine King Pavilion. He began to control all of the alchemists in the imperial city and made them submit to him. He established the Medicine King Pavilion. 2/3 of the pills in the imperial city were supplied by the Medicine King Pavilion. Every year, the soldiers in the imperial city's north and south borders required large amounts of healing pills. Just based on this, the Medicine King Pavilion could collect much of the imperial city's wealth and become the wealthiest faction in the imperial city. The imperial city had tried many times to incorporate the Medicine King Pavilion, but it was to no avail. It was because Yao Yanhai had a heavenly fish realm expert behind him that the imperial city could only compromise and allow him to exist and control the lifeline of the imperial city's pills. In the towering Medicine King Pavilion, there's a person sitting on the main seat, listening to the report of the person kneeling on the ground. The person sitting on the main seat was very young and looked to be in his early 30s. He was not considered handsome, but he was not ugly either. He belonged to the type that was determined and ugly. He wore a unique robe, and his body seemed to be suffused with a ball of flame. His aura was quite shocking. The only person who dared to sit on the Medicine King Pavilion's Pavilion Master's seat, besides Yao Yanhai, was his son, Yao Lingyu. He was the person who truly controlled the Medicine King Pavilion. After Yao Lingyu finished listening to his subordinate's report, a cold smile appeared on his face. He muttered to himself, "The face-retaining pill. I've been dreaming of this pill for a long time. Now it's come at the right time." Chapter 329. The Medicine Hall Storehouse was the most important hall in the Grand Xia Dynasty. It was located in the southeast direction of the Imperial Palace. There were a total of 10 pavilions, all of which belonged to the Medicine Hall Storehouse. Here, there were thousands of people identifying medicinal herbs every day. They were constantly categorized and placed. Ordinary medicinal herbs were placed in one of the pavilions, valuable medicinal herbs were placed in another, commonly used old medicinal herbs were placed in another, and those that had reached the level of spirit medicine were gathered together. This was to make it easier to find and manage them. Not all of these pavilions were for storing herbs. Some of them were for people to live in, and one of them was for the medicine priest to live in. The Medicine Hall Storehouse was an important place in the Grand Xia Dynasty. The medicinal herbs of the entire Grand Xia Dynasty were gathered here, and the reserves should be very shocking. In fact, it was so. However, most of them were ordinary herbs, and most of them were old herbs. The amount of herbs that reached the level of spiritual herbs was very rare, and even fewer were medicine kings. After Yang Wu arrived here, he strolled around a few medicine storehouses and was greatly disappointed. Originally, he came to look for heavenly herbs or medicine kings. But looking at these ordinary herbs, it was simply hard to believe that this was the Medicine Hall Storehouse of the Grand Xia Dynasty. Where is the Medicine Hall? Yang Wu asked the medicine boy beside him. This medicine boy was not a real child, but a manager who worked in the Medicine Hall Storehouse. He followed beside Yang Wu in a servile manner. This was a lord that the medicine priest had personally ordered to accompany, so he did not dare to be negligent. When Medicine Boy suddenly heard Yang Wu's question, he hurriedly pointed to another storehouse and said, "Lord, please come this way." Thus, Yang Wu quickly walked towards a storehouse on the opposite side. Every storehouse was actually sealed very tightly, and there was no moisture or cold air coming in. After walking into the storehouse, a medicinal fragrance would assail the nostrils. In this storehouse, the area that it occupied was not small, but unfortunately, the medicinal herbs displayed here still disappointed Yang Wu. In this vast space, there were actually only a few thousand stalks of spiritual herbs, and many of them were some very valuable spiritual herbs. It was hard to imagine that this was the reserve of a medicine hall storehouse. The spiritual herbs here were all eaten by dogs. No, by rats? How can there be so little? Yang Wu loudly reprimanded. The apprentice replied nervously, "Sir, that's all. Call your manager over. I want to ask, our Grand Xia Dynasty receives so many spiritual medicines as tribute every year. Even if it's a city, the amount of spiritual medicines we get is more than this. Why would they disappear without a trace?" Yang Wu continued. He was not an imperial envoy. He simply wanted to find out who was so daring to even swallow the National Medicine Storehouse. Their courage was not small. Even if the other party was a medicine priest, he still had to ask, how could such a small amount of herbs be enough? He still had to refine the weather reversal pill and the heavenly soul pill. He had spent so much effort to come here, and seeing such a storehouse made his heart ache. He believed that the old medicines and spirit medicines here must have been embezzled by someone. It was really hateful. Just as the apprentice was about to go find the manager, a voice rang out from within the medicine storehouse. Who is making such a big fuss here? How impudent! There were people in every medicine storehouse. They specialized in the care of medicinal herbs. The person who spoke was not a medicinal herb care worker, but an outsider who had come to the medicine storehouse a step before Yongwu. Looking carefully, he saw a man and a woman on a shelf in the corner. They were both quite young. They were not wearing the uniform of the medicine storehouse, nor were they wearing the uniform of an official. Instead, they were wearing the uniform of a certain power. The man and woman's appearances were very ordinary, but their faces were full of arrogance. It was as if this spirit medicine hall belonged to their family. Who were they? Yongwu looked at the young man and woman and asked the apprentice. The apprentice trembled and wanted to reply, but the other party had already walked over. The man who had just spoken opened his mouth again and said, get out immediately. Don't obstruct me and my junior apprentice sister from identifying medicine here. Who are they? Yongwu ignored the other party and asked the apprentice again. The apprentice quickly replied, they are the lords of the Medicine King Pavilion. Since you know we are from the Medicine King Pavilion, then get out of here quickly. The young man reprimanded again. Yongwu frowned and said, the Medicine King Pavilion and the Medicine Storehouse don't seem to be in the same place. The apprentice did not dare to reply. He lightly tugged on Yongwu's sleeve and said, Master Yong, let's leave first. Yongwu smiled faintly and said, there really isn't anyone who can make me leave. Even if the medicine priest was here, he would not dare to speak to him like this. The Medicine King Pavilion's mouth was really big. Yongwu knew of the Medicine King Pavilion. This was a power that could transcend the control of the imperial court. They controlled the lifeline of most of the imperial court's medicinal pills, and their status was very high. Normal powers and clans would not offend them. Even the imperial family respected them. It was clear how powerful their power was. Yongwu did not think that the Medicine King Pavilion's people would be in the medicine storehouse. At the same time, he did not understand why they were here. However, from their tone, he could tell that they were regular customers here. The man stepped forward and pointed at Yongwu's nose and said, I don't care who you are. Get out of here immediately. No one dares to go against the orders of our Medicine King Pavilion. The woman also opened her mouth and said, you're really handsome. If you call me Big Sister, I'll let you stay for a chat. Junior Apprentice Sister, don't fall for this kind of useless silver spear powder. The man reminded the woman. Then he scolded Yongwu. Pretty boy, get out of here immediately. Get as far away as you can. Don't let me see you again. Your saliva is all over my face. Yongwu said calmly. Tui. That man still wanted a yard after taking an inch. He actually spat at Yongwu. Fortunately, Yongwu's reaction was fast enough and nimbly dodged the saliva. However, the medicine boy behind Yongwu was not so lucky and was spat directly. The medicine boy wanted to cry, but he did not dare to. He did not even have time to wipe the saliva off before he really cried out. Bang! The man who spat at Yongwu was sent flying with a kick from Yongwu. The medicine boy could not help but cry. This time it was a big mess. You have guts. You dare to hurt my senior apprentice brother Liang. Someone come quickly. The woman hurriedly cried out. Go ahead and shout. I want to see if this medicine storehouse is your Medicine King Pavilion's back garden. Yongwu said in a low voice. The people of the Medicine King Pavilion were too arrogant. They actually spat at him. Even a clay figurine had 3 fires, let alone Yongwu, who defied the imperial edict. Soon, a group of guards rushed over from outside the medicine storehouse. They were the guards who guarded this medicine storehouse. The leader asked what happened. Quickly take him down. He dared to hit my senior apprentice brother. I want him to be punished. The woman pointed at Yongwu and said sternly. When she finished speaking, Yongwu continuously slapped her face in front of these guards. Slap! The woman was completely dumbfounded. As a member of the Medicine King Pavilion, she was respected wherever she went. However, she met a hothead in front of her who did not put the people of the Medicine King Pavilion in his eyes. It was really torturous. What are you all still standing there for? Quickly kill him. The man who got up shouted at the guards. However, these guards did not make a move. Yang Wu came out of the palace wearing battle armor. This level of battle armor was something that only a lieutenant general was qualified to wear. How could they easily offend him? "Sir, please have mercy," the guard leader said. No matter what, he still had to give face to the people of the Medicine King Pavilion. He had to speak. After Yang Wu slapped the woman a few times, he stopped and said, "Blind people, the ones who should get lost are you. Did you eat shit? I didn't see him so arrogant. Quickly take him down." The man of the Medicine King Pavilion scolded the guard again. "Sorry, this is a general of the Imperial Court. We have no right to take him," the guard leader said with a frown. Yang Wu showed his badge and said to the guard, "Throw them out." After the guard leader saw the badge, he immediately knelt down and said, "Yes, General." He already felt that Yang Wu's identity was not ordinary. However, after seeing the badge, he realized that it was more terrifying than he imagined. It was actually a lieutenant general badge. This was an important person who was comparable to the commander of the Imperial Guards. Although the other party had no right to order them to do anything, they had to give face to such an important person. Moreover, the people of the Medicine King Pavilion were really annoying. "The two of you can leave. Don't make us use force," the guard leader said to the man and woman very politely. "Bastard, you dare to offend our Medicine King Pavilion?" the man scolded. "Our 7th senior brother is here," the woman said again. Before she could finish, Yang Wu said again, "Throw them out." "Yes, General." The guard leader did not dare to delay. He quickly had a few subordinates force the 2 people of the Medicine King Pavilion out. "Good, very good. You wait," the man said with an ashen face. "Senior brother Liang, let's go find 7th senior brother," the woman also said angrily. The 2 people of the Medicine King Pavilion were quickly taken away by the guards. The elixir storehouse quieted down. "Are the people of the Medicine King Pavilion very scary? Why are you shaking so hard?" Yang Wu asked the trembling medicine boy. "Sir, you've caused trouble. The Medicine King Pavilion has always treated our medicine hall storehouse as their back garden. They've taken most of the herbs that were offered as tribute here. Only the remaining ones are left here. Even the medicine priest did not give them a discount," the medicine boy said while crying. "Oh, they're so overbearing. The emperor doesn't care?" Yang Wu asked in surprise. "I heard that the palace already knew about this, but it's still the same." The medicine boy quickly lowered his voice and said, "Sir, you should leave quickly. There are many people of the Medicine King Pavilion here. They often come here to identify herbs and collect herbs. Some of them, even the guards, don't dare to do anything to them. Looks like the Medicine King Pavilion is really overbearing." Yang Wu sighed. He more or less understood the situation between the Medicine King Pavilion and the Medicine Hall storehouse. The Medicine King Pavilion was bullying the host. It was really powerful. But would Yang Wu be afraid? Yang Wu turned and walked to the pile of elixir. He carefully looked for herbs. In his heart, he hoped that the people of the Medicine King Pavilion would come back and cause trouble for him. Chapter 330. Several thousand spirit herbs in the storehouse. It really did not seem like much. Yang Wu walked here, slowly choosing the spirit herbs that he wanted. Little Hay popped out of nowhere, holding a stalk of spirit herb in its mouth as it began to chew on it. There really isn't much good stuff here. It's all been cleared out by the people of the Medicine King Pavilion. Of course, there isn't anything good. Yang Wu sighed lightly. Even so, the people here have eyes but do not recognize Mount Tai. A stock of heavenly medicine was abandoned by them. Little Hay said, then jumped in a direction, arriving in front of a transparent jade box, and opened the jade box. This jade box was marked with the words, "High-level spirit herb soul flower," which had the effect of reviving souls and creating souls. Yang Wu walked over and looked at that stalk of soul flower, feeling that this flower was indeed full of spirit chi, but he could not tell that it was a stalk of heavenly medicine. He asked, "Little Hay, is this really a heavenly medicine?" Every stalk of heavenly medicine was priceless, and the medicinal chi was astonishing. Even if it was picked, it would still have a moving luster. This stalk of spirit flower in front of him seemed to have some spirit chi, but the medicinal fragrance it emitted was not particularly strong, and from its appearance, it did not seem to be very old. "Look carefully. What is that little bit on the flower?" Little Hay pointed at the petals and said. Yang Wu looked carefully. At first he did not find anything strange, but after looking carefully, he found that there were very small silver lights on the petals, just like stars. They were too small, and those who did not have good eyesight would not be able to see them clearly. He softly said, "Could this be a star soul flower?" Star soul flower was a special kind of heavenly medicine. Its petal star patterns were hidden very small, and its medicinal strength was mainly contained in the star patterns on the petals. It was a strange flower that grew at night by absorbing the power of the stars, and was very beneficial to the soul. That's right, it's a star soul flower. It really is a waste of heavenly medicine, Little Hay said, and then it was about to throw the star spirit flower into its mouth, scaring Yang Wu so much that he hurriedly stopped it. "Little Hay, don't eat it. This is a heavenly medicine that can cure ice and snow." "Save what? She can protect you for a period of time," Little Hay replied in annoyance. Yang Wu ignored its words and snatched the star soul flower over, immediately storing it into the Qian Kuan space before saying, "How can I want a woman to protect me for my entire life? When she gets better, that's the most important thing." During these days, Meng Bingxue was always with him. Even at night, she would sit in his room. If he wanted to do something to her, she wouldn't refuse. However, Yang Wu was not that despicable. Their hearts were connected by accident. She might have thought of him as that Mingzi, and he was also affected by that memory. He pitied her very much. Naturally, he wanted her to get better as soon as possible. After she recovered, he didn't know if she would still remember him. This was not something he cared about. As a man, he didn't want to be protected by a woman for his entire life. He wanted to be the man who protected her and get justice for her. "It's good that you think this way," Little Hay replied. Yang Wu then said, "Quickly see if there are any other good medicines that were left behind. Let's pick them up." Yang Wu was able to obtain the emperor's permission to come here to pick medicine, so he naturally wouldn't let go of this opportunity to take advantage of others. This was considered an additional compensation for him. Yang Wu and Little Hay picked several hundred spirit medicines, saying that they were going to refine the face-preserving pill for the empress. No one dared to say a word, and the medicine boy didn't dare to say anything. In any case, Yang Wu was the honorary medicine priest here. Just as Yang Wu took these spirit medicines out of the medicine storehouse and was about to head to the king medicine storehouse, he was blocked by people. The man and woman who had just been beaten came back. There were several people beside them, especially the young man in the lead. He had an extraordinary aura, like a ball of fire. Just standing there gave people a burning feeling. "Seventh senior brother, he's the one who hit us." The woman pointed at Yang Wu and shouted. The man also said, "Yes, we already said that we were from the Medicine King Pavilion, but he still didn't let us go. He's really going too far." The man and woman were called Liang Lang and He Yunduo. They were both disciples of the Medicine King Pavilion. The one they were supporting was their seventh senior brother, Wu Nan. There were 10 young alchemists in the Medicine King Pavilion who were the Pavilion Master's direct disciples. Wu Nan was one of them, ranked 7th. The reason they appeared at the Medicine King Pavilion was to bring their junior brothers and sisters to learn how to identify herbs. At the same time, they also collected some good herbs to bring back to the Medicine King Pavilion. In reality, they had indeed treated the Medicine Hall storehouse as the backyard of the Medicine King's Pavilion. 70% of the herbs had been taken away by them under the pretext that it was for the imperial court to refine medicinal pills. However, the amount of medicinal pills that they had supplied to the imperial court was much less compared to the herbs that they had taken away from here. The medicine priest expressed his dissatisfaction more than once. Unfortunately, even if he belonged to the Medicine King Pavilion, he was still far from the one in the Medicine King Pavilion. What's more, the Medicine King Pavilion didn't only have one Medicine King, but a total of 3. There were also many alchemists who relied on them, leaving him helpless. "How should I address you, General? How did my junior brothers and sisters offend you to make you so angry?" Wu Nan welcomed Yang Wu and said faintly. At the same time, he stuck out his chest, revealing the badge on his chest. It was the publicly recognized symbol of the Medicine King Pavilion's spiritual alchemist rank. Seeing that Wu Nan was only around 25 years old, he could become a spiritual alchemist. For an alchemist profession, it was quite amazing. Wu Nan was not a fool. From Yang Wu's attire, he could tell that he was a general. Moreover, such a young general was rarely seen. He guessed that Yang Wu might be a young master from some family. However, no matter which family he was from, offending the Medicine King Pavilion would not end well. Dog eyes grow in the sky. Anyone would be angry. Yang Wu looked at Wu Nan and replied forcefully, "Is that so? The people of our Medicine King's Pavilion are rarely bullied in the royal city. Which family are you from? From now on, our Medicine King's Pavilion will no longer sell you any pills. No one in the royal court will sell you any pills." Wu Nan smiled faintly. "Ah, such big words." Yang Wu sneered and continued, "The medicine storehouse can also refine pills. Could it be that they can't provide me with pills? They really don't dare. If you don't believe me, you can ask." Wu Nan crossed his arms and said. Yang Wu turned to the medicine boy and asked, "Can this lord not get the medicine priest's pills?" I don't know. You should ask the medicine priest." The medicine boy was so anxious that he wanted to cry. "And there's no need to ask. I am a medicine priest." Yang Wu said, "Haha, this joke really isn't funny." Wu Nan laughed. The people around him also sneered, thinking that Yang Wu was giving himself a way out. He then said, "Kneel down and kowtow to admit your wrongs. Otherwise, there will be no place for you or your family in the royal city." The Medicine King's Pavilion's control over pills was very tyrannical. Many powers had to curry favor with them. If they offended them, they would use their connections and could isolate any family. There was once a family that was forced to leave the royal city because of them. Since then, they had declined. The tyranny of the Medicine King's Pavilion could be seen. "Guards, immediately get all these people out of the Medicine Hall storehouse and forbid them from entering in the future." Yang Wu shouted at the guards who were standing nearby. One of the guards ran over and said, "Sir, we can't do this. They are people of the Medicine King's Pavilion. They have the privilege to enter and leave as they please." "Who gave them this privilege?" Yang Wu asked. "It was the emperor himself." The guard commander replied, "Did you hear that? We are people with special privileges. You dare to provoke our Medicine King's Pavilion. You're dead." Liang Lang shouted. He and Duo also sneered and said, "It's too late to kneel now. Seventh senior brother, I think we should investigate his background. We should make him lose all standing and reputation and get the hell out of the royal city." The people beside Wu Nan also began to speak. They all treated Yang Wu's threat as a joke. The guard commander also lowered his head and didn't dare to speak. He sighed in his heart. Of all people to offend, you had to offend the people of the Medicine King's Pavilion. Sometimes, they're even scarier than the royal family. How about it? Do you understand the power of our Medicine King's Pavilion? Wu Nan looked at Yang Wu with disdain. Yang Wu didn't speak. Instead, he fished around his waist and took out a token. He threw it at the guard commander and said, "Throw them all out for me. In the future, no one will be in charge of the medicine storehouse. This medicine priest will be in charge. If the emperor has anything to say, tell him to come find me." Yang Wu had already been conferred the title of honorary medicine priest. Although the real power was with the medicine priest, he, as the honorary medicine priest, could also command everyone in the medicine priest. The guard commander picked up the token. His hands trembled. He raised his head and asked, "Sir, you are?" "Yang Wu." Yang Wu responded simply. "So it's the honorary medicine priest. This subordinate knows his mistake." The guard commander knelt and said, "Those who don't know are not guilty. Throw them out for me." Yang Wu emphasized again, "But sir, they have—" The guard commander said again. Before he could finish, Yang Wu interrupted him and said, "I said that I have the final say in the medicine storehouse. I think the medicine priest won't have any objections. I will take responsibility for the emperor. Thinking that I have disobeyed the edict a few times, the emperor has been tolerant of me. This time, he won't mind taking care of a few people who don't have eyes." "Yes, my lord." The guard commander made up his mind and responded. These guards had had enough of the faces of these Medicine King's Pavilion disciples. Not only were they looked down on for a long time, they also had to listen to their orders. They were completely treated like their own servants. It really made them angry. Moreover, Yang Wu's name had long spread to every corner of the imperial city. His repeated disobedience of the edict was even more widely known. Until now, Yang Wu was still fine and hadn't received any punishment. He was even conferred the title of honorary medicine priest. Even a fool knew that Yang Wu's ability was extraordinary. Who dares? What kind of existence is our medicine king's pavilion? Think carefully. Wu Nen saw that the guards had surrounded them and shouted loudly. Chapter 331. The people of the Medicine King Pavilion were tyrannical in King City, but many people dared not speak out. They had gathered many alchemists, and each alchemist was incomparably noble. They could have many experts protect them, so it was easy for them to deal with anyone. Even a royal family gave them face, so it could be seen how powerful they were. After these guards heard Wu Nan's reprimand, they became timid again. No matter what, their home was still in King City. If they offended these people, it would not be easy for them to survive. You don't dare to deal with them? Yang Wu asked the guards. The guard commander was a bit more unyielding. He faced Wu Nan and the others and shouted, "Our lord has spoken. Please leave. Qin Xiang, you have big dog guts. Do you believe that I won't have you scram from King City tomorrow?" Wu Nan pointed at Qin Xiang's nose and scolded. "I am the guard commander of the medicine hall's warehouse. My lord has given orders, so I have no choice but to obey. Please leave immediately." Qin Xiang emphasized again. Yang Wu's eyes flashed with a trace of appreciation. He could see that this commander still had some courage. "I won't leave. Let's see what you can do to me." Wu Nen responded with the same strength. "Men, chase them out for me." Qin Xiang was not going to stop until he was done. He shouted at his subordinates. The guards had no choice but to obey. They quickly surrounded these people and drove Wu Nan and the others away. Wu Nan and the others were alchemists, so their martial arts were not very strong. Their faces were full of anger, but they could not change the fact that they were being driven away. Wu Nan stared back at Yang Wu and said, "I'll remember you, Yang Wu. Quickly scram. In the future, no one from the Medicine King Pavilion is allowed to take half a step here. Whoever dares to come in again, break their legs." Yang Wu waved his hand and said, Hey, wait and see." Wu Nen sneered. He flicked his sleeves and led everyone away. Everyone could feel the fierce revenge behind Wu Nan's sneer. Yang Wu did not put this threat in his eyes. If he was not in a good mood, he would have directly sent them flying. As soon as they left, the medicine priest appeared. Honorable medicine priest. The people here, except for Yang Wu, all saluted and greeted him. Yang Wu bowed to the medicine priest and said, "Medicine priest, this is the backyard of the Medicine King Pavilion. Don't you feel ashamed at all?" The medicine priest pinched his beard and smiled bitterly. "How could I not feel it? Unfortunately, I am not the opponent of that old man, Yao Yanhai. Now, I can't even compare to his son. I don't have the face to challenge them," which led to the decline of the medicine hall. "So, you deliberately didn't come out so that I could have a conflict with them?" Yang Wu asked. The medicine priest replied, "Don't tell me you want an old man like me to compete with these juniors. All right, since you put it this way, then you'll take care of the big things here in the future. I'll take care of the small things. However, I'll first check the new medicines that will be offered as tribute in the future. What do you think?" Yang Wu said with a sly expression. "You're already an honored medicine priest. This kind of work is natural." The medicine priest said with a satisfied expression. "All right, it's a deal," Yang Wu said with satisfaction. Then he said, "Medicine priest, I want to find some good medicine to refine the face-preserving pill for the Empress. What you have here are all inferior products. I think you must have some good things. Quickly take me to see them." The medicine priest bitterly smiled and said, "Follow me." Thus, the medicine priest personally led Yang Wu in a direction. That was the backyard where the medicine priest lived. Other than him, only his loyal subordinates could approach that place. No one else was allowed to enter. Little Hay murmured on Yang Wu's shoulder, "I've already smelled a strong medicinal fragrance. It seems like this old man really has some good things in his collection. That's a must." If I were the medicine priest, I would definitely collect some good goods to prevent the Medicine King Pavilion from taking them all away. Yang Wu was not an idiot. Of course, he could understand that the medicine priest was the person in charge here. How could he not have some private goods? He would not believe it even if he was beaten to death. Soon, they arrived at the medicine priest's backyard. They walked towards an unremarkable house. Yang Wu felt the presence of a king in that direction. The other party hid it well, but it could not escape his senses. He thought to himself, "It seems like there are many hidden goods here." The medicine priest personally opened the door to the house. This was a storage room. There were only a few messy things inside, but who would have thought that there was a basement in this storage room? This was where the medicine priest hid his good things. After Yang Wu followed the medicine priest down, a strong medicinal fragrance wafted into his nose. He found that this wide basement was filled with all kinds of herbs. He was shocked. This basement was at least 1,000 square meters in size. There were dozens of different shelves placed here, displaying many well-preserved medicinal herbs. Every stalk emitted a strong medicinal fragrance, and there were countless sparkling lights shining. These were the lights of the spirit herbs and king herbs that had been picked. There were at least 50,000 stalks here, and every stalk was at the spirit herb level or above. This was the true national medicine warehouse. For the sake of the imperial court, this old man has put in a lot of effort. The medicine priest sighed. Yang Wu was sure that the medicine priest's words were sincere. If the medicine priest had hidden so many good things for his own use, there was no need to show them to him. "Medicine priest, you have worked hard," Yang Wu said, and could not wait to pick the herbs he needed. The medicine priest was very generous and did not care about Yang Wu at all, allowing him to choose as he pleased. He only muttered to himself, "The Medicine King's Hall is very powerful and has roped in many pharmacists." Those pharmacists did not want to be bound by the imperial court, so they all joined the Medicine King's Hall, resulting in the Medicine King's Hall's dominance. Although the Medicine Hall has roped in a few loyal and patriotic pharmacists, there is no way they can compare to the other party. The imperial court also has no way to deal with them. They also have people behind them, resulting in them becoming more and more rampant, and already do not put the imperial court in their eyes. It was unknown whether Yang Wu heard the medicine priest's words. He picked out one herb after another. His eyes shone as he muttered to himself, "1,000-year ginseng king, earth spirit root, these are all the best of the medicine king." Very quickly, Yang Wu was like a whirlwind sweeping away the clouds. He collected the thousands of spirit herbs and medicine king into his bag. He was not courteous to the medicine priest at all. Little Hay also took the opportunity to swallow a few spirit herbs and two medicine king. Looking at Yang Wu, she felt her heart ache. Yang Wu walked to the square shelf in the center and saw that there were dozens of heaven medicines in the crystal cover. He immediately cried out involuntarily, "Fog fruit, flood, dragon vine." This time, even the medicine priest could not remain calm. He quickly rushed in front of Yang Wu and said, "Yang Wu, don't touch these treasures. No, I must have the fog fruit and flood dragon vine." Yang Wu said very firmly. These two herbs were the real main ingredients to restore his father's body. He saw them here and naturally did not want to let them go. "No, every stalk of heaven medicine is priceless. It is a life-saving medicine left for the royal family. You can't touch it," the medicine priest said firmly. "I won't take it for nothing. How about I take out the face-preserving pill formula and exchange it with you?" Yang Wu tempted. The medicine priest shook his head and said, "No, I'll exchange the heaven medicine with you." Yang Wu said in a deep voice, "Do you really have heaven medicine?" The medicine priest asked. Yang Wu did not hesitate to take out the heaven medicine that he had obtained from the ice mountain in the Ice Wolf Valley. These were 2 stalks of heaven medicine with ice profound chi and water profound chi. Their value was not inferior to the fog fruit and flood dragon vine in front of him. The medicine priest's eyesight was extraordinary. He distinguished for a moment and said, let's exchange. Heaven medicine of the same value is not considered a loss. Don't worry, I'll also write out the face-preserving pill formula for you. However, you can't spread it out." Yang Wu saw that the medicine priest was so straightforward and also returned the favor. You know how to conduct yourself." The medicine priest looked at Yang Wu in a new light. Previously, his impression of Yang Wu was that he was too sharp and easy to break. Now, it seemed that Yang Wu was not as simple as he thought. This was a young count with wisdom and brains. "Thank you for the compliment. I'll accept it." Yang Wu was satisfied and exchanged the 2 stalks of heaven medicine he needed. After that, he went to pick up other herbs. The medicine priest did not pester him and once again nagged. It seemed that no one had heard him speak like this for a long time. After Yang Wu walked around and collected a lot of spirit herbs and medicine kings, he finally left reluctantly. In fact, it was not that the medicine priest did not really look at Yang Wu at all. Instead, he stole glances from time to time. He watched as Yang Wu collected all the herbs here without blushing or panting. His heart ached. However, compared to those people from the Medicine King Pavilion, Yang Wu was more tactful. For the same herbs, Yang Wu would at most pick 2 or 3 stalks. He would not take all of them and would leave some behind. This method was still very civic. This way, when he needed these herbs in the future, he would not be unable to find them in a short time. Yang Wu and the medicine priest walked out of the basement side by side. The medicine priest warned, "The Medicine King Pavilion should come looking for trouble with you first. Be careful. What kind of storm can a bunch of alchemists stir up?" Yang Wu said disapprovingly. Medicine masters were intoxicated in the path of medicine refinement. They had indeed neglected the path of battle skills. Yang Wu did not take them too seriously. "If you don't listen to the advice of your elders, you will suffer losses." The medicine priest sighed and shook his head. Yang Wu did not explain. He was not even afraid of the imperial family, so why would he be afraid of a mere Medicine King Pavilion? Yang Wu wrote down the face-preserving pill formula for the medicine priest. The medicine priest put it away like it was a treasure. Every rare pill formula was treated like a treasure. This face-preserving pill was not any less valuable than any top king pill formula. In some cases, it was even more useful. Yang Wu left the medicine hall storehouse and prepared to go home. However, he did not expect that people from the Medicine King Pavilion would actually be waiting outside to take revenge on him. He instantly smiled. Chapter 332. After Wu Nan and his men were driven out of the medicine hall storehouse, they waited outside. They must teach Yang Wu a lesson. The people of the Medicine King's Pavilion had always been extremely arrogant. They were the ones who bullied others, not the ones who were bullied. They had been immersed in alchemy all year round and paid little attention to the outside world, so they were not very clear about Yang Wu's background. They did not know how Yang Wu had become an honorary medicine priest, but it was nothing in their eyes. They also had a very powerful force behind them, which was bought over with their elixirs. Yang Wu did not expect that Wu Nan and his men would dare to take revenge on him. He had already revealed his identity in the medicine hall storehouse. How could ordinary people dare to offend someone who dared to defy an imperial edict? When Wu Nan saw Yang Wu, he waved his hand. Behind him, 8 people rushed toward Yang Wu like wolves and tigers. 3 of these people were in the general realm, and the rest were in the warrior realm. With such strength, it was easy for them to deal with ordinary warriors. They could not make a move in the medicine hall storehouse just now, but now they had no such scruples. Beat him into a pig's head. I don't care if he is an honorary medicine priest or not. Liang Lang waved his fist and said excitedly. He and Duo also said in a sweet voice, "Cripple him. How dare he look down on our Medicine King's Pavilion? We must teach him a lesson." Wu Nan crossed his arms in front of his chest and didn't say anything. The smile on his face, as if he was watching a play, was unmistakable. He had always been very proud of himself as an alchemist because he never needed to personally take action when it came to matters like beating someone up. Unfortunately, when they saw the next scene, they were shocked. Their 8 followers were all kicked away by Yang Wu. Yes, they were kicked away. Like sandbags, they were kicked away by Yang Wu. They were directly sent, flying more than 10 feet away. It was unknown whether they were dead or alive. "Let's go," Wu Nan said straightforwardly. He turned around and left first. Wu Nan was an alchemist and a general realm warrior, but his combat strength was not necessarily stronger than the general realm warrior who had just been kicked away by Yang Wu. He was no match for Yang Wu, so he did not want to stay and suffer. How could Yang Wu let them go like this? Yang Wu's figure flashed and appeared in front of the three of them. He smiled faintly and said, "It doesn't seem very good for you to leave like this." "What do you want?" Wu Nan said with a frown. "Nothing. I want to do what they want to do to me. I want to do what they want to do to me." Yang pointed to the people who had been kicked away. "Don't mess around." Liang Lang trembled as he spoke, but before he could finish his words, Yang Wu had already lifted his leg slightly, and a kick swept out, sending Liang Lang flying on the spot. He Yunduo screamed, and in the next moment, she was also kicked away. Yang Wu had controlled his strength very well. He did not kick them to death on the spot. At most, he would make them lie in bed for 10 days to half a month to teach them how to behave. Wu Nen revealed a panicked expression. He had already realized how strong Yang Wu was and that it would be easy for him to deal with him. He quickly said, "Let's forget about today's matter. I won't trouble you again in the future." "Huh, you call people to deal with me, and now you say let it go. Do you really think this lord is so easy to talk to?" Yang Wu sneered. After a pause, he looked Wu Nan up and down. Wu Nan instantly felt a little scared. Then, Yang Wu loudly said, "Take it off." Wu Nen instantly retreated and said in a panic, "Don't mess around. There are so many people in this hall. I'd rather die than obey." Yang Wu's face darkened as he said, "Who would be interested in your little body? Take off your clothes and go back to your Medicine King's pavilion naked. Don't even think about it." Wu Nen replied. He turned around and quickly ran away. But how could he be faster than Yang Wu? Yang Wu's fingertips released a blue flame, and he flicked it at Wu Nan. Hit! This blue flame touched Wu Nan's body, and in an instant, his clothes were set on fire. Wu Nan continuously screamed as he continuously put out the fire. But this fire could not be extinguished. Even so, it did not cause too much damage to him. It only burned his clothes to nothing. Wu Nan continuously jumped on the street. He thought that he had been burned, but in reality, that blue flame was quickly called back by Yang Wu. The passers-by on the street all stopped and stared at the scene. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Whose child is this? Does he have any morals? He's jumping around naked in front of everyone in the hall. I think I saw his clothes catch fire, and then he became like this. It's really strange. It's not good to play this kind of game at such a young age. This person looks familiar. He seems to be from the Medicine King's pavilion. Did he play with fire too much and burn his clothes? The people coming and going pointed at Wu Nan. Wu Nan came back to his senses and looked at his naked body. He almost fainted on the spot. He quickly covered his little penis and quickly found a corner to hide. He wanted to cry, but had no tears. He shouted, "Yang Wu, I cannot live under the same sky as you." After so many years, this was the first time he had made a fool of himself. He hated Yang Wu to death. Yang Wu did not take Wu Nan's words to heart. He smiled faintly and walked away. Today, he had gained a lot and did not want to bicker with Wu Nan. However, just because he did not bicker, it did not mean that the people of the Medicine King's pavilion did not bicker. When Wu Nan and his group returned to the Medicine King's pavilion, Wu Nan found his master Yao Lingyu and complained about Yang Wu's evil deeds. Yao Lingyu was the current head of the Medicine King's pavilion. He was only in his early 40s and was already a Medicine King. He took over his father Yao Yanhai's position and took care of the Medicine King's pavilion. In the past few years, the Medicine King's pavilion had developed rapidly. Other than the solid foundation left by Yao Yanhai, it was also because of Yao Lingyu's bold and decisive actions. Yao Lingyu had 10 disciples, and Wu Nan was one of them. It was because of this that Wu Nan was able to see him directly. "The one who dealt with you was called Yang Wu?" Yao Lingyu asked after hearing Wu Nan's words. Wu Nan nodded and said, "Yes, it was Yang Wu. He looked to be around 17 or 18 years old. He had the medicine priest's token. I suspect he is related to the medicine priest." "Idiot. He is a genuine glory medicine priest and also the youngest Medicine King." Yao Lingyu scolded Wu Nan in annoyance. "He is the Medicine King?" Wu Nan said with incomparable surprise. "That's right. He is the Medicine King." Yao Lingyu said with a light sigh. He paused and said to himself, "I was worried that I wouldn't be able to find a chance to deal with him. Now I have a reason. Today, After Yao Lingyu heard about Yang Wu's matters in the imperial court, he knew that Yang Wu had the face-preserving pill. He wanted the face-preserving pill's recipe. Now that Wu Nan had made a fool of himself, he had a legitimate reason to find trouble with Yang Wu. Wu Nan was scared out of his wits. If Yang Wu was the medicine king, then wouldn't he be able to stand on the same level as his master? Moreover, he was still so young. One could imagine how bright his future would be. He even wanted to use the name of the Medicine King's Hall to scare others. No wonder they were so confident. "Master, what do you think we should do?" Wu Nan asked in a small voice. "Didn't he not let us Medicine King's pavilion not go to the Medicine Hall's storehouse? We will go anyway. Let's see what he can do." Yao Lingyu sneered. Yang Wu didn't know that he was being targeted by the Medicine King's pavilion. Even if he knew, he wouldn't care. When he returned home, it was already dark. His mother was anxiously waiting for him to come back for dinner. "Wu, you're finally back," Su Rome said with teary eyes. She paused for a moment and then said, "Quickly go in and eat." Yang Wu's whole body instantly warmed up. It had been a year since his mother cared about him like this. Thinking back to the past, he felt that it was a matter of course for his mother to wait for him to come home for dinner. But now he no longer thought so. Parents' care for their children was a matter of course, but children couldn't take this care for granted. Don't let them worry about you. That would be unfilial. Yang Wu quickly stepped forward, held his mother's hand, and said, "Mother, you don't have to wait for me in the future. I've grown up and know how to go home and eat by myself. Wait until you marry a wife and have someone to take care of you. Mother won't care about you." Su Rome felt that her son was sensible and her heart was comforted. This morning, she had been worried about whether Yang Wu would be in trouble. It wasn't until the afternoon that she received the news that Yang Wu not only didn't suffer, but was also conferred a title. Her heart was completely at ease. Yang Jinan looked very calm, but in fact, he was also worried. However, he was a man, and he really couldn't just stand at the entrance of the courtyard and wait for Yang Wu to return. Instead, he got Yang Karen to prepare the food and wine, and sat in front of the food that had already turned cold, waiting for Yang Wu to return. "Master, the young master is back," Yang Karen whispered to Yang Jinan. "It's good that he's back. Take these dishes and heat them up so we can eat." Yang Jinan's face that had been gloomy for the whole day finally showed a trace of a smile as he lightly said. Yang Karen did as he was told and took the dishes back to heat them up. The family once again sat in the hall. Yang Wu also called Meng Bingxue over to eat together. Shou Ho, Lu Ji, and the others didn't come back. After they were sent away by Yang Wu in front of the palace, they casually strolled around the city and enjoyed the atmosphere of the city. After the dishes and wine were all gathered, Yang Wu poured wine for his parents and also for himself. He then raised his cup and said, "Father, Mother, I've made you worry. It's all my fault." After he finished speaking, he drank the wine first. "It's good that you're fine." Yang Jinan lightly smiled in response and also drank the wine. Su Rome said, "Wu, you've really grown up. Father, Mother, don't worry. In the future, our Yang family will only get better and better. No one will be able to do anything to hurt us," Yang Wu said with a trace of extreme confidence. "If your little brother comes back, our family can really be reunited. I'll leave tomorrow to bring my little brother home." Chapter 333. Spring and summer alternated, and all living things began to grow. The spring rain that had quietly left had already nourished the vast earth, and the gentle and charming sunlight quietly appeared, sprinkling down a myriad of radiances. In front of a mansion, there were many people who had already arrived. There were nobles in official robes, rich merchants in bright clothes, and even manservants holding the reins of their horses. Many carriages were filled with all sorts of items, causing the mansion to be extremely crowded. These people had been waiting for almost an hour, but there was no trace of anxiousness on their faces. On the contrary, they were chatting with the people around them. "Lord Liu, I didn't expect you to come in person." "Haha, coming in person shows more sincerity." "Lord He, aren't you the same?" "Boss Fan, you're just a grain seller. What are you doing here?" Which family doesn't lack grain? In the past, the Yang family didn't lack rice from our Fan family. This time, We have to quickly make up for what we didn't sin in the past. The place where these officials and wealthy merchants were gathered was the Yang family's mansion. They were planning to send gifts to the Yang family. Now, the Yang family was incredible. A year ago, Yang Wen had become the top scholar in the liberal arts. After a year of decline, Yang Wu had made a strong comeback. Not only was he not punished for disobeying the imperial edict, he was even rewarded. He was definitely the first person in history to do so. These officials and wealthy merchants naturally hurried over to curry favor. Who knew when they would be of use in the future? Not long after, another carriage rushed over. A middle-aged couple walked down from the carriage. They were dressed gorgeously and exuded an oppressive aura. It seemed that their status was not inferior to the officials and wealthy merchants in front of them. "It's the Su family," someone who knew them said softly. "I heard that they have already drawn a clear line with the Yang family. Now that they've come, it seems that they want to repair this layer of relationship. It's fine if the Su family didn't help back then. They even drew a clear line to protect themselves. Their actions weren't wrong. However, with Yang Wu's unruly personality, I don't know if he will accept the Su family's good intentions." The middle-aged couple was none other than Yang Wu's uncle, Su Hurin, and his aunt, Kong Qing. Su Hurin was the eldest son of the Su family. He was in charge of the Su family's business income and was the chief steward of the Su family's finances. He was a typical businessman who was smooth and slick. He was slightly plump and always had a smile on his face. He had an amiable temperament, and his eyes flashed from time to time. His shrewd expression meant that no one could easily take advantage of him. Kong Qing, on the other hand, was decked out in gold and silver. She was very extravagant, like a nouveau riche. She didn't know how to restrain herself at all. She raised her head high and looked at the sky as if no one was in her eyes. After they got off the carriage, they nodded to the surrounding officials and wealthy merchants before heading towards the entrance of the Yang family mansion. The attendants beside them were also carrying gifts. Someone knocked on the copper bell on the vermilion door and shouted, "Open the door." The officials and wealthy merchants didn't take the initiative to knock on the door for fear of disturbing the people in the courtyard. However, the Su family did so. It seemed that they were relying on their relationship as relatives to be full of confidence. After a while, a soldier opened the door. 8 people came out from the left and right. They had a dense, bloody aura. The person who knocked on the door was frightened and almost fell to the ground. "What's the matter?" The soldier who came out asked faintly. They were the members of the Death Legion. They lived in the courtyard and opened the door when they heard the knock. They were all experts who had seen blood. How could ordinary people compare to them? The officials and wealthy merchants couldn't help but have a whole new level of respect for the Yang family. The rise of the Yang family was imperative. "We are relatives of a Yang family. Yang Jinan is my brother-in-law. I'm Su Hurin. Quickly go and report this." Su Hurin said with a smile. Kong Qing, who was behind him, said, "What report? It's natural for us to come and see our brother-in-law and sister. Quickly make way." The members of the Death Legion didn't make way. One of them said, "Wait a moment. I'll go and report this." As soldiers, how could they listen to other people's words so easily? Everything had to be done according to orders. Yang Wu had already given them an order. Without his order, no one was allowed to step into the courtyard. Kong Qing said with a face full of dissatisfaction, "You have big dog guts. Do you believe that I won't ask my brother-in-law to drive you out of the house?" Su Hurin pulled Kong Qing and said, "Madam, there's no need to make things difficult for these servants. Let them go and report." The door was closed once again. Kong Qing was so angry that his fat body trembled. It seemed that he had suffered a great grievance. Yang Wu, who had just woken up from his meditation, received news that Su Hurin and Kong Qing had come. Not only did he not have the slightest trace of joy on his face, he even revealed a bit of disgust. It seemed that he didn't welcome the arrival of these 2 relatives. "Let them wait," Yang Wu ordered in a bad mood. Thus, Su Hurin and Kong Qing joined the ranks of the people waiting outside. The officials and wealthy merchants all went over to greet the Su family. No matter what, these people were related to the Yang family. Kong Qing was surrounded by these people, trying to curry favor with them. His arrogant expression rose again as he said, "My brother-in-law will come out soon to bring us in. At that time, everyone can go in together." "That's good, that's good," everyone present said in unison. After another quarter of an hour, there was no movement from the door. Kong Qing's expression was a bit awkward. She said with a dry smile, "Maybe he just got up and washed up. He needs some time." After another quarter of an hour, Kong Qing couldn't smile anymore. She pointed at Su Hurin and said, "Quickly go and call Yang Jinan and the others out. I was really blind to have married my sister to him. Don't be anxious. Wait a little longer. He'll definitely come out." Su Hurin persuaded. After a while, Kong Qing urged Su Hurin to knock on the door again. Su Hurin was afraid of his wife and could only bring the servants to knock on the door again. The person who opened the door was still the same soldier from before. He stared at Su Hurin and asked, "What's the matter?" "I'm Su Hurin, my brother-in-law," Su Hurin said from the side. Before he could finish, the soldier replied, "No matter who you are, you have to wait. My master is still resting." After he finished speaking, he didn't give Su Hurin a chance to speak and slammed the door shut. Su Hurin instantly understood that the Yang family was angry. Back then, when the Yang family was in trouble, they didn't immediately go to the emperor to plead for leniency. Instead, they immediately distanced themselves from the Yang family and denounced Yang Wu's evil deeds. They felt that the heavens couldn't tolerate this and criticized Yang Wu for being useless. It was because of this that the Su family was able to maintain their status in the royal city. In addition to old Master Su, who was once one of the 6 ministries, the Su family also had 3 sons who were officials in the imperial court. However, their positions weren't too prominent and were still in the process of being promoted. The Su family relied on their original connections to help their second son gain a foothold. However, after the favors were exhausted, it would be very difficult for their second son to be promoted to a 3rd-rank official. Now that the Yang family had risen again, they naturally couldn't let go of this opportunity. They had to repair the relationship between the 2 families so that the Su family could regain its glory. Unfortunately, Yang Wu wasn't so magnanimous. What the Su family had done back then had not only disappointed him, but also his mother. Naturally, he wouldn't be nice to the Su family. Su Hurin was humiliated, but he couldn't say anything. Kong Qing couldn't take it anymore. She shouted, "Yang Jinan, Su Rome, come out now. You're ungrateful. Don't you remember your family?" It had to be said that Kong Qing's voice was very frightening. It was comparable to a lion's roar. Not only did it cause the surrounding people to distance themselves, but it also caused Yang Jinan and Su Rome to hear it. Yang Jinan and Su Rome hurriedly walked out of the house to welcome their brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Before they could take a few steps, Yang Wu appeared in front of them and stopped them. "Father, mother, leave this matter to me. Wu, they're your uncle and aunt. Let them in," Su Rome said with some anticipation. "Mother, don't worry. I know what to do." Yang Wu didn't want to make things difficult for his mother, so he simply replied and turned to walk towards the door. Su Rome was naturally worried, but Yang Jinan stopped her and said, "Let him go. Some people should learn from their mistakes." Yang Wu didn't say anything else and waved his hand at the many members of the Death Legion in the courtyard. 100 of them gathered together and followed him to the door. The soldiers guarding the door bowed to Yang Wu and opened the door. When the door was opened, the soldiers behind Yang Wu rushed out like a tide. They released their general aura and condensed it into a terrifying battle aura. The killing power was incomparably shocking, and it wasn't something that ordinary people could withstand. Many of the officials and merchants waiting outside were frightened by this powerful battle array. The horses kept neighing. Kong Qing, who was cursing, had never seen such a battle array before. He was so scared that he immediately shut his mouth. When these soldiers stood still, Yang Wu slowly walked out. Yang Wu was handsome and extraordinary. He was young and promising. After being tempered by Blue Enchantress, he was like a fairy that had descended to the mortal world. His entire body seemed to have a layer of light that dazzled people. They all softly exclaimed in their hearts, "What a good Earl Xiaowu!" No one dared to be negligent. They all bowed and greeted Greetings, Earl Xiaowu. Titles were the titles of nobles. In the king's city, many officials and nobles liked to use titles. Yang Wu was no exception. Yang Wu nodded at these people and ordered, "Capture the people who were shouting just now." "Yes, Commander." The members of the Death Legion shouted in unison. Their voices were shocking and filled with killing intent. Kong Qing was so scared that her body trembled. She continuously retreated and tripped on something. Her fat body fell to the ground, and she let out a miserable cry. Nephew, you can't do this." Su Hurin quickly came back to his senses and called out. Chapter 334. In the past, Yang Wu didn't hate the Su family. At most, they could be considered as displeasing to the eye. Take the son of the two in front of him as an example. He considered himself to be his cousin and treated him as a follower. He showed off everywhere, as if he was afraid that others didn't know that he had a cousin who was a viscount. Every time he appeared, he would use him as a shield. There was once when he was beaten up because of him. He didn't have a good impression of his cousin at all, and his aunt was even worse. In the past, he felt that his aunt was like a nouveau riche. Her words were also rather corny, praising him and his brother as if they belonged in the heavens and not in the mortal world. However, when something happened to his family, she was the one who spoke the worst behind his back. She couldn't wait to cut Yang Wu a few times to distance herself from him. Yang Wu clearly remembered that before he was taken to the mountain prison, his face was smashed with rotten eggs. A few of them were thrown by his aunt. At that time, he happened to see it clearly. How could he treat such a person as a relative? Yang Wu didn't have a good impression of his uncle, Su Hurin. He treated his mother well, but it was more for the sake of benefits. Many times, he would ask his mother for help to rope in business for the Su family. His father was a noble count, so how could he easily rope in business for others, even if it was his own relatives? This made things difficult for his father many times. Yang Wu wasn't old, but he had seen everything clearly. He didn't need to think to know why the Su family had come this time. Yang Wu looked at Su Hurin and asked coldly, "What are you doing here?" Su Hurin said with some embarrassment, "We're here to see your parents and nephew." "No need. You can go back now," Yang Wu said coldly. Then he smiled at the others and said, "What are you all doing here?" Although everyone was afraid of Yang Wu's soldiers, they couldn't wait in vain. They hurriedly stepped forward to speak. "Count Xiaowu, I'm Lu Wei. I've prepared a small gift for you to celebrate your great contribution at the border and your conferment of the title of Count. Count Xiaowu, I'm from the Fan family. This is a little gift from us to your Yang family. Please accept it. Count Xiaowu, my family has long heard of your great name. This is a small gift from us." These people presented their gifts one after another, and the gifts they gave were all carefully selected. There were ancient relics, rare treasures, spirit treasures, and so on. None of them were ordinary goods. However, these things were nothing in Yang Wu's eyes. The value of any of his spirit medicines was comparable to these things, not to mention the king medicines he had. But that didn't mean that Yang Wu would refuse these things. He smiled faintly and said, "Thank you for your care. How could I accept it?" Although he said this, he waved his hand and had his subordinates collect the gifts one by one. These people didn't mind Yang Wu's actions. On the contrary, they felt more at ease. Hadn't they waited so long for Yang Wu to accept the gifts and remember them? Kong Qing had already climbed up and stood next to Su Hurin. She didn't dare to show the slightest bit of arrogance and obediently hid behind Su Hurin. She was afraid that the soldiers would catch her. She watched as the soldiers collected the gifts one by one, and a greedy light appeared in her eyes. She muttered, "This nephew is incredible. I have to curry favor with him. In the future, my Su family will be able to obtain many good things." After a while, the soldiers finished collecting all the gifts. The people who had given the gifts didn't stay any longer and bid farewell to Yang Wu one by one. Yang Wu also smiled as he watched them leave. After everyone left, Yang Wu turned to look at Su Hurin and Kong Qing. Finally, his gaze fell on Kong Qing. Kong Qing was frightened and quickly said, "Yang Wu, I'm your aunt." "Yes, I know you're my aunt. When I was sent out of the city a year ago, you threw a total of 4 eggs at my face, right?" Yang Wu asked Kong Qing. This time, Kong Qing was scared witless. She quickly waved her hand and said, I didn't do it on purpose. You didn't do it on purpose? Then you threw it out of your hand? Yang Wu asked again. Yes, I threw out my hand. No, I didn't throw it out. It really wasn't me. Kong Qing's arrogance disappeared and was replaced with an expression that looked like she was about to cry. She could be arrogant in front of others, but when she saw the murderous soldiers behind Yang Wu, she didn't dare to show her shrewish and bitter temper. Yang Wu ignored Kong Qing and looked at Su Hurin. You heard it. This is your good wife and my good uncle. Hurry up and scram. Yang Wu didn't show any courtesy. He didn't care about these relatives at all. Su Hurin and Kong Qing were so frightened by Yang Wu's shout that they fell to the ground on the spot, their faces pale. Who dared to go against the young king's anger? Wooer, don't be rude. Su Rome walked out and said, Mother, didn't I tell you not to come out? Yang Wu looked at Su Rome, who had walked out, and said with a face full of unwillingness, I'm your mother. Su Rome said with a trace of dignity. When Yang Wu returned, he had no choice but to walk to the side with a drooping face. He wasn't afraid of anything, but he was most afraid of his mother getting angry. He remembered that when he was young, he didn't listen to his mother's advice and didn't go to the river to play. He insisted on doing the opposite and accidentally fell into the river. He almost drowned. After being rescued, his mother, who had always doted on him, spanked him. Yang Jinan walked out from the back with a bitter smile. He didn't know how to answer. Elder brother, elder sister-in-law, please come in. Su Rome helped Su Hurin and Kong Qing up. Younger sister, I thought you didn't remember me, your sister-in-law. Master often told us that you were the most sentimental. We had no choice but to break off our relationship with you. Aren't we here to beg for forgiveness? Kong Qing said while crying. Not a single tear came out her eyes. It seemed so fake. Su Hurin walked over to Yang Jinan and said, Brother-in-law, we've let you down. Father often blamed us. Even if we died, we should have spoken up for you. You were wronged. Don't mention the past. Yang Jinan said calmly. Su Hurin and Kong Qing were welcomed into the residence. Yang Wu didn't want to see the faces of these relatives and hurriedly went back to his room to prepare. He would personally look for his younger brother. In his heart, his younger brother was as important as his parents. No one could replace their position. Ever since he was young, his younger brother had grown up with a halo and received countless praises. Countless officials and nobles wanted to arrange a marriage with his family. Even the current emperor had such thoughts. The emperor had once said that the day his younger brother became the top scholar would be the day he married the princess. Unfortunately, the day his younger brother became the top scholar was the day the Yang clan was raided. In order to save him and his parents, his younger brother gave up his position as the top scholar, allowing his family to survive. It could be said that the person Yang Wu felt the most guilty towards was his younger brother. Now that the matter of Imperial City had been settled, he wasn't in a hurry to refine the heaven reversal pill for the time being. It wasn't easy to refine that kind of heavenly medicine. It required a lot of strength to support it, and it also required a more stable state of mind. Right now, he was worried about his younger brother's safety and couldn't calm down. Before Yang Wu prepared to leave, he called Yang Karen over. Yang Karen had been staying in the Yang family all this time, and there was nothing strange about it. Every day, he would serve his parents and continue to be a good servant. Her beauty was even above Wan Lanxin's. Her beautiful eyes shone brightly, her body was graceful, and her ordinary clothes could not hide her beauty. Eldest young master, is there something you need me for? Yang Karen looked at Yang Wu and asked, Sister Karun, since we were young, why can't you call us family? Yang Wu asked, Eldest young master, I entered the Yang family when I was young and knew that I was a servant of the Yang family. Master and madam treated me very well, as did eldest young master and second young master, but I can't forget myself. Yang Karen replied seriously. Since she was young, she had been taken in by the Yang family and became a servant. Not only did she not suffer the slightest grievance, she was also taken care of everywhere. Her heart was 100% loyal to the Yang family. She, who matured early, recognized her position clearly, and did not dare to cross half a step. Yang Wu could feel Yang Karen's stubbornness, so he did not pester her on this matter. He believed that Yang Karen would not do anything that was detrimental to the Yang family. He went straight to the point and said, "Sister Karun, you are about to leave. Please hire some servants to serve my parents. In addition, buy some houses around here for me. In the future, my brothers will also have a place to stay." After he finished speaking, he took out a large amount of gold and silver and placed it in front of Yang Karen. This caused Yang Karen to be stunned. These gold and silver treasures were obtained by Yang Wu from the dead people and extorted from the barbarians. This was only a small part of it. "Eldest young master, you can rest assured that I will get things done quickly," Yang Karen replied after a brief moment of absent-mindedness. "I also have something for you." Yang Wu responded and took out some pills and placed them in front of her. He had already felt that Yang Karen had reached the intermediate general realm. But a year ago, she should have been just a warrior. In just a year, if not for the lack of opportunities, how could she have broken through so quickly? In front of her, he gave her acupoint breaking pills, healing pills, and a profound congealing pill, all of which were of extraordinary value. Yang Karen had already joined a mysterious force, so her knowledge and experience were already extraordinary. But when she saw the gifts Yang Wu gave her, she still felt a little incredulous. She asked, "Are these really for me?" The most precious thing was the profound, congealing pill, which could help people break through to the King Realm. If this news spread out, even a King Realm expert would be tempted. "If not for you, then who would I give it to? No matter what you think in your heart, I will always treat you as my sister." Yang Wu spoke in a very serious tone. Then he stuffed the pills into Yang Karen's hands, turned around, and walked out, leading most of the Death Legion to the north. "Little brother, big brother is coming,"